Hello and welcome. This is Gray Hughes of Gray Hughes Investigates on YouTube. This channel evaluates all aspects of true crime. As you are aware, videos and live streams in this genre often discuss elements of crime that may be disturbing to some viewers. If necessary, take the precautions needed to avoid these feelings. Factual information related to cases is the key to fostering rational true crime discussions. Fortunately, you will find that here. Please hit the like button only once, share the video, and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you very much for watching.
Huh? It's a house!
Did you hear what I said?
It's a house!
There's mosquitoes the size of bald eagles in that dadgum swamp. 5 brain cells, 4 aren't working. Have you lost the last 3 brain cells, or do you just have cabbage for brains?
All right, hopefully it's working. Testing. They switched my microphone again. There we go. How about that? Is that better? Or testing. It's crazy how it switches the microphone all the time. Weird stuff. Yeah, that Palm Springs bombing, that was a pretty strange guy there. He's somebody that doesn't believe, he didn't get to have the choice to live. So his mission was to, because he didn't get a choice to live, he doesn't want these embryos that, you know, at this fertility clinic to not have the same choice. So I guess you take out the embryo, so you're choosing for them, or yeah, they saved all of them. He had some weird manifesto that's online, and he actually was like he was friends with this other person who had her boyfriend kill her. So there was this girl that he knew, and she had her boyfriend kill her while she was sleeping, and with multiple shots, and he was aware of that, and then that guy was already been arrested on second-degree murder. But you know, it's just, what a weird bunch of crap. Looks like it's going to be a small crowd tonight. Again. Why? Who the hell knows? Yep, hit that like button. Yeah, Zozo's looking up a bunch of different stuff on different websites, or some old stuff that was out there a long time ago. I also went and, you know, on the original Dateline episode, it's basically that episode was scrubbed. Like, you know, I can't remember what it was. Like, you know, death at King Road or something, or, you know, killings at King Road. And that first Dateline has almost been completely scrubbed off the internet. You can find it on Spotify as a podcast. I mean, it's just audio, and that's about it. But other than that, it's gone. It's not even on Peacock. When you go to the season 31, episode 32, it's not there. I mean, how crazy is that? But there's some interesting stuff in that when you go back and listen to it. The original one? You saved the original one? I have the new one. Yeah, I'm talking about the one that was put out 2 years ago. Yeah. I think I probably recorded it then too, but I'm sure I mean, obviously I deleted it since then. That was a long time ago. I don't know. We're just talking about what I'm talking about. Aren't you listening? Or kind of a weird question. Jesus. But anyways, yeah, that first podcast all those years ago, 2 years ago, from the Dateline, not podcast, first episode on Dateline regarding the homicide at King Road. It seemed like it's just been scrubbed off the internet. You can't find it anywhere. The actual video. Thanks, Timothy Moore. Let's see, let me guess. Fredit and Deborah came from another place together. Because it's interesting to just say hi to somebody who asks a random question. You know how these trolls work. Let's see. Yeah, what a strange chat. Right out of the chute. Well, do you guys want to see the update on the animation? It's not like a ton, but I added more fighting, and then I have Xana pretty much walk to the kitchen. Into the kitchen itself. And then I also put in the cabinets above the stove with the fan underneath it, etc. Thanks, Alley Cake. Well, who's joining Alley Cake's wave right out of the chute? So we're not like last night at the beginning. Yeah, I've watched the new one. I've seen like 3 times. All right, here it goes. What's that sound? It sounds like somebody's playing with the dog up there. That's where I'm at right now. That's pretty crazy, though, isn't it? I mean, when you watch that, it's like, holy shit, It's pretty bizarre. I'm just kind of wondering, my thing is I'm trying to figure out I'd have to go back and redo it all, but, does Xana, would she be holding the cell phone there, or would she be holding something else? And by the way, is anybody there? Hello? Hey, thanks, Mark Ferris and Sandy Shirley.
Nice work, great.
So that's where it's at so far. I mean, I think there's another 2 minutes to go of this thing. I mean, I've got 2 minutes and something. I mean, I'm only at 50 or 55 seconds.
Ocean wave emoji, ocean wave emoji, ocean wave emoji, surfer emoji.
I mean, when she's going back to the kitchen, is she holding the Jack-in-the-Box bag and that cup? Is she holding that? What do you think? Because I don't know if she's on her cell phone, because I don't think she ever makes it back to the room to use her cell phone again after she leaves her room. She makes it back to her room, but she's not using her cell phone. She's trying to escape somebody. Because if you base it on what law enforcement believes, they think she went into the kitchen, and then after this, she hears something, then goes upstairs, and then on the way down says something. Maybe he says, "Hey, there's somebody here," and then she gets chased by. I didn't think about it like this though. What if Dylan, if Xana in the kitchen says, "Hey, there's somebody here," because she can hear somebody upstairs, and she walks by Dylan's room and goes up the stairs and is on her way up the stairs. When Dylan looks out, she can't see her. Then after that comes down. What do you think about that? I didn't really think about it like that, but I think it's more that I think after Dylan came out and heard what sounded like Kaylee playing with the dog upstairs, she shut her door, and then and that's right. I think that's around 4:12, 4:11, 4:12, and maybe the 4:12 is when Xana left her room to go to the kitchen, and she left her phone in the room, and never got to use that phone again. How about that? Like, what if? Let me just throw this out there. What if, when Xana went to the kitchen, it was 4:12, and that's why she never used TikTok again, because she left her phone in her room to go drop off the bag and the cup. Maybe there was a Starbucks cup that was still in the room from earlier in the day, and she brings it over to the kitchen to drop it off because she didn't want it in her room. What do you think of that? Because I don't want to get too far without adding that into her hands when she's walking. I don't think she had her cell phone with her when she goes upstairs. What do you guys think about that? Moving at the time. I'm not sure what you mean. I think she's going to the kitchen naturally. Hasn't really heard anything much at this point. And then she goes into the kitchen, and she probably has her DoorDash bag and a cup in her hand or something. And is going to go drop it off in the kitchen. And then after she drops it off, I think that's true, and I'm just going to go back and re-render these and put a cup in her hand or something, and and then she drops it off, and then while she's in there, because of the location being on below, like there's floor, it basically goes like this, like floor 1, and then 2A, which is the living room, and then 2B, and 2B is directly below 3. Right, so you're right below it at that point. So maybe she could hear better from there and really started hearing there's still some fighting going on. And then Kohberger finished killing them before she even made it up the stairs. Yeah, I don't know, Chris. I mean, sometimes we just have to make decisions, you know what I mean, when we're doing an animation. I don't like being frozen stiff because we can't come up with something. I'm just going to come up with what I think. Oh, I'm sure other people will try to copy it quickly before. They'll probably get somebody out there that can do animations, and they'll steal my work, and that's how it works. It doesn't really matter what you do on YouTube. I don't know if it'll be the first one. So what do you think? Because law enforcement believes she was in the kitchen, heard something, went upstairs, and then Kohberger followed her down. And then we know for certain at that point she's not using TikTok anymore, or whatever the hell it was. Was it TikTok or Instagram, right? She's not using it anymore. Oh, God. Listen, hey, Pozempic, I don't care, okay? Yeah. I'm not blaming her or anything, but her actions that night were so strange. Okay, if you're not blaming her, never talk about it again. It's irrelevant. All right, let's see. Please support the channel if you can. Thank you. Yeah, well, that's right. you're out there and you can support the channel, that'd be great. Hopefully we, have a little better start than yesterday. Yesterday was just it was amazing. It was as if we weren't even here for like an hour and a half. It's coming along great. Yeah, well, thanks. Yeah, I might have to change it though. I might have her carrying a cup and the DoorDash bag. It probably won't. I'm not going to make it look like the greatest bag in the world. It's just going to represent the bag. All right. And they're going to carry it into the kitchen, or she's going to carry it in the kitchen, and then I'll probably just have it, I'll have a creative cut, and then all of a sudden you see it sitting there in the kitchen, and then she'll be standing there and just kind of idle, and then I'll have her turn sharply as if she heard something, and then I'll cut back to maybe something still going on up in the room, and then I'll have her start walking out of the kitchen and then turning to the right. Okay? Up the stairs. And then I'll film her coming up the stairs in, 2 different segments. And then I'll have her at the top of the stairs. We'll have her come around the corner. I'll do it just like I did when Kohberger went up the stairs. And then when she gets to the room, we'll have the door open and the camera just kind of looking over her head as she stops and looks, and then it'll be you'll see Kohberger standing in the room, and then at that point she turns quickly and runs down the stairs, and then not too far behind, maybe 5 or 6 seconds behind, is Kohberger, and then chases her into the room, etc., etc., etc. It just goes on and on and on. Yeah, the sliding glass door was broken, you guys. It was broken. I was thinking of doing it like this, that Xana goes to the kitchen to get the DoorDash at 4:12, because she didn't get it right away. And that's why, but I don't think that's accurate. Okay. And then, because Kohberger then would even have to almost step over the bag going in, I think it's just the way I have it is the way it is. Yeah, and then maybe walks over there. But it looks so much better with the cabinets in there, doesn't it? I actually took that from another project I did that had cabinets, and I moved them into this scene. Yeah, cool. Small crowd because American Idol. Who the hell wants to watch American Idol final? What the hell are you talking about? Jesus, I hope my viewers aren't big fans of that. Like every single time they're, well, I'm going to watch American Idol. Jesus, that thing, yeah, exactly. Is that still on? Maybe you were watching it and just happened to check in. I don't know, but it seems odd. I don't know what these little lines here are, but I don't care. I had to change the window. I think now it looks more the right size. No, I just think it was broken. I mean, we don't know if Kohberger's the one that broke the sliding glass door, or it was just unlocked. It was broken already. It just wasn't working. I think that's more likely, and he probably even knew that it wasn't working. Maybe on one of those nights he tested it out, and boy, there it was, unlocked again. And we know it was broken because law enforcement put the chairs down there to lock it. All right, so as you guys know, every single night on this channel, the freaks support the channel. I do the shows, you guys support the channel. You can do the coffees, super chats, channel memberships. We have 0 channel memberships currently. Tonight, gifted away, we're at 1/20th of the goal. So if you guys are out there and you have the ability to, please consider supporting the channel, because that's what allows my channel to keep doing the shows. And at the end of the month, I take a large portion of the channel income, usually between like 25 and 35% of the gross income to the channel. I send off to various true crime related charities, etc. So if you guys feel like I do good work and want to support the channel, I would appreciate it. But currently we seem to be having another one of those slow starts. The lock was, yeah, I know that. Yeah, we know that, Mark. We already got that all dialed in. Let's see. BK knew it was broken in advance. That's what sealed the deal, and that's why he went on that night. Well, I think he might have even tried with his knife, Mark, because that's what Danny Rolling did. He used his knife to just kind of pry it open. It's not difficult. So, either way, I think he was prepared to get into that house no matter what situation he encountered. Huh? Oh, the bots are double? Oh, hold on. Let me turn it off. Oh, yep, there's an extra one on there. I see it. Because he'd gone there 11 times, Bozempic. Many times he'd been there. Within 100 meters, 23 times of that house. I'm sure on a few nights he went all the way down to the door and checked it out. Absolutely wouldn't be surprised whatsoever if he did that. Well, that's what it said on the Dateline episode. Except they, sometimes it's worded where, like, the tower was within 100 meters. But I don't know. The tower was within 100 meters of the house, and then sometimes it's worded as the phone pinged within 100 meters. So I guess we'll have to wait on that. Yeah, he would have got in there no matter what. Let's see. Well, I guess nobody heard my public service announcement. We're still at the same state. Oh boy, here we go. Alright, so I have these clips from the non-existent Dateline. I have audio clips. Alright, so let's listen to, let's see. We'll just listen to them in the order that I recorded a few of these. Like one of them actually involves Papa Rogers, Like, how we thought maybe Papa Rogers was actually Kohberger. So here's one right here.
That's why after the murder in one of the many online discussion forums that popped up for true crime fans, a character appeared, going by the name of Papa Roger. Strangely, the profile photo, in hindsight of course, reminded many of Brian Kohberger.
I probably showed the
picture.
And
on November 30th, 17 days after the murders, Papa Roger wrote to the group, "Of the evidence released, the murder weapon has been consistent as a large fixed-blade knife. This leads me to believe they found the sheath. Remember, police hadn't talked about the sheath publicly at
Yeah, except he used pretty good common sense. Somebody could have easily said that.
all. But Papa Roger had, and a couple of others, too.
How odd.
No information that Papa Roger and these people intersected in any way. But it was just interesting to me to see that other
That's Coffindoffer.
people thought along that line as well.
I think a lot of us have watched a lot of crime dramas, and the idea that somebody will have left a sheath behind has never come up in anything I've ever read or watched or heard.
Right.
This is just one reason our source tells us that investigators are now convinced that the man behind the Papa Roger profile was Brian Kohberger.
I mean, that, do you hear that? Investigators are convinced that Papa Rogers is behind, or Kohberger's behind the Papa Rogers account. That's pretty crazy, right? Like, that's pretty, like, Dateline has good sources. They don't just invent something. They actually, they have to be told by a credible source the things that they say. Unlike, the pro-burgers out there will just say whatever the hell they want to say and see what sticks. So don't you think that's interesting? That in that old Dateline, they are, I bet here's the thing. We don't know, like, since then, have they discovered, well, we don't, that's not really him. But that would be, it was amazing at one point. For sure, they were convinced. Are they still convinced of that? I don't know. Hey, thanks, Jody Jackson. And we're still at 1/20th of the goal and 0 gifted memberships.
One is puzzled about this. Why do something that may wind up giving you away, which...
Hey, thanks, CR. Look at that. There you go. There's 5 gifted memberships.
apparently contributed in some way to them believing that he was the killer.
You'd have an individual that had such a need for control and that egotistical drive that they wouldn't be able to resist.
That's that Bukata guy. He was in that one too. It's, you know what's weird is I think they got rid of the original episode because it's so similar. Like it's almost the same exact thing, except they threw in a bunch of the new stuff with the video, etc. It's very similar though. It's almost like the same episode, but just added in the new stuff. Was checking local sporting goods stores, asking about the K-bar. Yeah, they were looking for the K-bar, yeah. Yeah, that's right. I mean, the thing is they made it public that the fixed blade knife was a K-bar knife. You know, and that was in the media. So if somebody goes, oh, wow, they were using, they know it's a K-bar knife, how in the hell would you know that? Oh, they must have found the sheath. I mean, that was a logical conclusion.
In the news that MPD was checking local sporting goods stores asking about car sales.
I think the
One of
bigger
reasons
thing,
they found a sheath.
I think the bigger thing that was in the, was that he mentioned that, let's see, so it was the K-bar, the sheath, hold on, it just left my mind just like that. I was thinking of something else, and then I forgot it. So the sheath was, oh man, there was a bigger element to that. Ah, darn it. Probably won't pop into my head again either. Gray, I am a few minutes behind. I believe I have the original Dateline and... Oh yeah? I couldn't find it at all. I looked on Peacock, missing episode, everywhere, all their little online things. I guess you have to... Maybe it was on a different site of theirs, but I don't think so. I already said that, my Vespa. I already said that. You must have missed it. We were talking about putting the cup and the food back in her hand and leaving the phone in the room because she never used that phone again, in my opinion. So that means it was 4:12 when she went to the kitchen. And if that's true, Kohberger probably got upstairs by like 4:11, 4:10, just as I've always said. Because it wouldn't take him that long up there. But yeah, we've already said that, so you should probably rewind and check it out. Nothing worse when somebody repeats exactly what you already said. Hey, thanks Tamran127 and Dixie Hippie Investigate and Danielle. I don't know how to say that. What was I just thinking about the K-bar? They purchased the knife. Or they mentioned it in the papers that it was a K-bar knife, and then he was able to... Oh yeah, the thing that he said. So what was the other thing that he said? The other element, the thing that really made me... Oh yeah. So when Papa Rogers said he tried to convince people that the white Elantra was a red herring. I think the other one, see, the other thing is sort of mundane. Like, look how smart I am. I figured out it was he must have had the knife sheath must be there, you know. However, the other thing is something that could identify him, the white Elantra, not the knife sheath. The knife sheath cannot identify Kohberger, but the white Elantra could. And so he told everybody how that's just a red herring, that's meaningless. And it turns out that's one of the most important elements of the entire case is the white Elantra. So don't you think that that's sort of interesting? Huh? He's so dumb for using his own car. Yeah. Maybe. Oh, by the way, if you haven't seen Gracie in a while, here she is right here. It has a little bit of crap on her face, but she just got up from outside. There she is. She was just chilling out. That's how she was naturally, just sitting there like that. As if like she was a human being or something. There you go. There she is. All right. Hey, thanks, Sean, for gifting those 5 memberships. All right. And we had CR up there. Katie. Very cool. So don't you think that's a pretty big deal? That he was so, you know, like, hey, this doesn't mean anything, you guys. The white Elantra doesn't mean a damn thing. Yep, nothing to see here. That thing, yeah, that's just a total red herring. Focus in on the other stuff. I think that almost, that's even more likely it's him at that point. Because why would he say that? That's something that law enforcement wouldn't put out unless they really believed it was something. So why would he call it a red herring? I mean, really strange. So, and see, I'm somebody, I've been covering this stuff a long time. When law enforcement puts out that they're looking for a vehicle, that's because they've already tracked it all over the place and they know that's the vehicle. They don't just go, hey, here's some random, it's not random at all. They literally know exactly what they're doing. What are you talking about, Alley Books? What? Oh, the dog. You're about 2 minutes behind. I thought you were talking about the person on the screen, the 3D character. Okay, I get it. I'm in the hospital, so I have to have a bad arm, so I can't text very much. Hey, well, I hope you feel better. Love you too. Love you too. What happened to your arm? We don't do dreams in here, Branda. You go sell your crap somewhere else. All right, thank you. Yeah, we don't do dreams in here. This isn't the right channel for dreams. The Kohbergers would love it, or some nutjob YouTuber, but we don't do dreams. We don't do. Hey, I saw it in a dream. Okay, so go sell it somewhere else. Yeah, see that? LOL fool. That's exactly right. What a bunch of idiots these people are. Let me see. Hey, hold on a second, you guys. I don't believe in dreams, but I believe in spirit boxes. Hold on. At a hut. Don't listen, little buddy skipper. Oh, psychics are dumb. Oh, psychic. Oh. Yep, it said right at the end, it says psychics bat shit. Did you hear that? Crystal clear right at the end. Listen to it again. Psychics are... Ah! I heard it, man. Absolutely heard it. Psychics are bat shit, it said right at the end. I didn't mean to, but... You know, I got to call it balls and strikes, man. That's what it said. 100%. 100%. All right. I had a dream. Oh, my God. Give me a break. Yeah, anybody can claim anything. Oh, I had a dream that said... Let's see what it says. I dreamt him day 4. Premonition 2 nights before. Is that supposed to rhyme? I dreamt him day 4. Premonition 2 nights before. Many dreams after. My latest. January before autism. Doesn't you quit the rhyming, man? What happened there? So it was going to be cool. I was going to do like... Come on, everybody. Woo! It's just stupid. Oh, my God. We just... unreal. The beatbox. There we go. All right, let's listen to the next clip. Oh, yeah. So there was a couple elements that were cool. Listen to this one.
According to our source, investigators learned the following. One of Brian's 2 older sisters, home for the holidays, brought up an uncomfortable topic. The sister had noticed Brian...
I mean, listen to this. I forgot about this stuff right here. Look at how the sister... This is probably a completely reliable source. I think this is the sister that's was in a movie, a B movie.
Brian had been wearing latex gloves. She thought it odd. And at some point, the sister, quite loudly, pointed out that at the time of the murders in Moscow, Brian had lived just a few miles away in Poland.
So she probably was like, do any of you guys see what I'm seeing here? Look it. He's wearing these latex gloves everywhere. He drives a white Elantra like the one that they're looking for in Moscow, Idaho. Hello? That's what she's saying to her family. Thank you, Allie K.
And that Brian drove a white Elantra, a car that law enforcement across the nation was looking for. Add that to the gloves, and the sister said she thought the Kohberger family should consider that Brian might have killed the 4 students in Moscow.
And why would she have thought that? You know what I mean? That means that he's always been creepy and weird and strange in that house for that to just fly right into her mind. Although I would think that, you know, if you're sitting around getting ready for Thanksgiving, you know, or whatever it was, Christmas, and, you know, one of your siblings comes home and they're sporting surgical gloves every time they touch something they've never done before. And then you hear about a homicide that took place within 10 miles of where your sibling was. And oh, by the way, they also drive a white Elantra. Unbelievable. You might be a little bit skeptical at that point. Thank you, Mary QC.
Our source says Brian's father said no, he didn't believe that. But then our source says several members of the family actually went outside.
Hold on, let's see.
Our source says Brian's father said no, he didn't believe.
Who is this? The source. The source must be a family member. Unless the family member told somebody else precisely all this stuff. Or maybe it was the FBI, because, again, Dateline has a source on the FBI. The FBI was likely there, interviewed them, and that's what the sister said. And that's probably in documentation somewhere. I mean, that'd be incredible if that's something they can use at trial.
Calls that became made to his dad, did he confess?
That. But then our source says several members of the family actually went outside to look for evidence in Brian's white Elantra.
So the family goes outside. Not only are they freaked out, they start looking through his Elantra to try to find something.
And they didn't find any. But by then, police had already observed Brian cleaning the car with bleach.
Jesus. Are you kidding me? So he was cleaning his car. Not only did he wash his car multiple times, he was cleaning it with bleach. Well, he's got OCD, Gray. Here's a Kohberger. He's got OCD, Gray. What's wrong with cleaning your car? He's just hygienically sound, you bastard. Kohberger's innocent. Yeah, because we all sit there with a bucket of bleach and clean our car on a daily basis. Hey, thanks, Danielle. I don't know how to say your last name.
It's 2:47 a.m.
It's probably Italian or something.
Logic. Keep up the great work, Gray.
This is where I come for life. Hey, thank you. Are you in Italy or something? Let's see. You don't clean a car with bleach. I mean, I think this is amazing. This whole thing right here. Listen.
But odd. And at some point, the sister, quite loudly, pointed out that at the time of the murders in Moscow, Brian had lived just a few miles away.
Look at Kohberger lived right. Look at. She wouldn't say Kohberger. She'd say, "Listen, Brian lived right there, you guys, and he's weird as hell. And he drives a white Elantra, and he's now wearing gloves, cleaning his car and grabbing things with gloves."
Pullman. And that Brian drove a white Elantra, a car that law enforcement across the nation was looking for. Add that to the gloves, and the sister said she thought the Kohberger family should consider that Brian might have killed the 4 students in Moscow.
And the dad probably already was thinking this after that drive back home, which was a weird drive because it seems like every single second the dad kept talking about, "Oh, did you hear about that other shooting over there? It was crazy." Maybe that was because that was about a month later, and that was the event that just happened when he was there. Maybe that's why his dad kept bringing that up. But it also seemed like a nice little way to divert from the other huge story that just happened 8 miles away.
Our source says Brian's father said no, he didn't believe that. But then our source says several members of the family actually went outside to look for evidence in Brian's white Elantra.
What do you think of that, man? They go outside and they literally start digging through his car because they're that convinced. Where is he, by the way, at this time?
And they didn't find any. But by then, police had already observed Brian cleaning the car with bleach.
So even prior to that, they had already seen him cleaning the car with bleach. Oh, that's good. That's good stuff. All right, let's listen to this other one.
Approximately 1:30 a.m., it all went down. Dozens of local, state, and federal agents descended on the Kohberger home, and when agents moved in, it may not surprise you to learn, Brian...
Who doesn't love the way Keith Moore, the way he talks is so amazing. It's so perfect.
And Kohberger was awake. He was, according to a prosecutor, standing in the kitchen.
So this was in an article. He was standing in the kitchen.
Wearing latex gloves.
Wearing latex gloves.
Putting his personal trash into Ziploc bags.
Putting his own personal trash into Ziploc bags.
To be taken, our source says, to the trash can of a neighbor.
And he would take that trash and bring it to the neighbors. That's amazing. Yeah. So when he put all that together, even that right there, you know, they did think the Papa Rogers account was his. The family was absolutely suspicious as hell. The sister was. So much so that they looked through his car. But he must have been there if his white Elantra's there. So was he okay? Like, yeah, go ahead, look through it. All right, and here's another element. I mean, what do you guys think of those right there? Those are sort of, we've all heard of these things, but it's interesting to hear it, you know, how it came out originally. This is how this information came out. Scott G.
When a guy stalks college girls, creeps through the dark, and spends a little extra time in 2 bedrooms after butchering them to death. Do you think sexual gratification is the subtext?
Yeah, well, I think it's sexual in nature, for sure. You know, I mean, he could have done anything in that room. And, you know, I don't know, it's weird, because my thing is I think he killed Madison and Kaylee before Xana went up to the room. And I think it's sort of obvious because then he goes down and kills Ethan and Xana, and then I think he leaves after that. So, you know, what did Xana hear which made her go up there? I mean, she might have heard the very ending of the killing, and then when she goes up there, is Kohberger sitting there in that case too? I mean, why did he sit in the chair after he killed Xana and Ethan? Was he doing something to himself? You know, I mean, we don't know. It wouldn't shock me, but he had a hell of a lot of rage in him. Some of the stuff that Zozo found. This one lady wrote something. I think it might be. Is it this one? No, this is just one of the things. It says, "Remember when Papa Rogers made?" Look at this thing. So again, about the Papa Rogers from earlier, it says, "Remember when Papa Rogers made his own group and used Maddie's Instagram screenshot as a cover photo? I always thought that was odd." This is September 16, 2023. Sarah Willie, it looks like. "Now I'm seeing posts about Steve Gonzalez saying Maddie was BK's target. Edited to add there are no pics of Xana or Ethan in this photo and just one picture of Kaylee in the center." So look at every picture does have Madison in it. That this Papa Rogers guy posted in the group. In the group that he created. So that was pretty interesting. That wasn't what I was looking for though. Was it this one? I don't remember if it was this one or not. In this context, the hammer and knife that the girl was babbling incoherently about last night makes more sense. I'm aware this has been shown before. I'm reposting it for the people who were awake last night when the female. Yeah, so I guess we can't see what the see more is, but this is back in February of 2023. Look at this. It says where he was home on winter break with family and agents posed as garbage men and went through the family's garbage to find DNA and confirm the DNA match from the text message my sister received from the FBI agent. Apparently, it is one of the most gruesome, probably, scenes he's ever been a part of. Ethan's legs were sliced all the way down to the hamstring. Now, does that mean from the foot to the hamstring? Because down means up above, but that sounds like the carving. Isn't that weird? This sounds like what was mentioned in the recent Dateline episode, the carving. So it says Ethan's legs were sliced all the way down to the hamstring. And so if you're saying down to the hamstring, well, your hamstring is the top of your leg if you're standing, right? That's your hamstring. So I'm not really sure. That must mean like from the foot all the way up to the hamstring. That's crazy. And then it said one of the girls was poked, they said, 54 times and was hurt so badly that every bone in her face was broken. Is that Kaylee? And sunken in to the point she was unrecognizable. One of the cops said, one of the girls, I wish we could see the rest. Oh wait, I do have the rest of that. And these are like these really old posts. But the reason this seems credible now is because it matches what Dateline said. Are you guys following along here? It seems like you're rambling about other stuff not associated with what I'm talking about. So it says one of the cops said one of the girls in the basement who survived, so that would be Bethany, went by the staircase and thought it was Ethan making all the noise and yelled, let's see, and yelled at him to shut the hell up. But it was actually Brian, and he left after, but she didn't know it was him at the time. So that would have been Bethany Funk downstairs, heard, apparently in this story here, heard Ethan, thought it was Ethan, but it was actually Brian Kohberger, and told them to shut up there. And in this person's account here. So it sounds pretty, possibly legit. I remember people saying that was Dylan, but it wasn't. All right, you guys, we're still getting creamed. We're at 20% of the goal, so if you guys could please help support the channel. We got to keep on trucking through the month. We're almost at a 66% of the month coming up here. So if you have the ability to support the channel, allows us to keep doing all this, I would appreciate it. I don't have any other source of income on these live streams, so you guys are it. If you feel like I do a good job, then I would appreciate the support. If you can't support the channel financially, hit that like button, go out and share the videos, do whatever the hell you can, but I definitely need the support here. What I was wondering is if Xana has her phone in her hand and moving around, don't they have the ability, like they did in the, what's the name of that case? The one in Colorado with the husband who killed the wife, but he got off. And then they found her body. Morphew. Yeah, like the Suzanne Morphew case. Remember how they were able to sort of track the phones inside the house? I think it'd be interesting to see if they could track maybe Xana's phone around in there. That'd be pretty cool. Hey, thanks DRP4 for the super sticker and Alley Cake. It was on the Dateline special. Now they have a source in the FBI, in my opinion. There's no way in hell law enforcement in Idaho would give anything out like that. And the defense team, I think it would be, even though it would taint the jury pool element, the facts that were put out were so much more damning that it doesn't really help their client, All right, so there was that. I think this is legit, this screenshot here. This one. Yeah, because they even said his legs were carved, and this thing said that exact same thing, basically. I don't think it'll damage the case. It might just make it harder to find a jury who didn't see the special. A jury member. But a lot of people don't watch that stuff. I bet you Dateline doesn't
For
even
example,
have
in search
very good ratings, to be honest with you, overall. I bet you it's like, maybe 5 million people watch that.
For example, in search warrants, police reported that in Kohberger's home in Pennsylvania,
This is a new one. Listen to this.
in Brian's bedroom, we're told, inside a latex glove, police found 2 ID cards.
So they found 2 ID cards in latex gloves in Kohberger's house.
IDs belonging to 2 women. And not, our source tells us, not the women who are among the victims on King Road.
Yeah, but who are they? I mean, so he went, I bet you he was a prowler and broke into some other people's homes at some point and stole their ID cards. And I bet you they're like prototypical, I don't know if he would have done that or not. I mean, how do you think he would have got somebody else's IDs? 2 different people's ID cards. I mean, that's pretty wild in itself. That he has, in a sock, he's hidden away 2 ID cards of other women that aren't the ones that he killed.
Were there other targets?
Yeah, other targets, other...
Well, if there were other targets, though, I mean, if he'd gotten that close, stealing those, it could have been that he was doing dry runs at other places. They weren't really his targets, but he would steal their IDs, sort of as memorabilia, like, oh yeah, that was that one time I was right in there. I could have done whatever I wanted, but I just took their ID, and he did it twice, maybe late at night. I just go on between 5 and 7 pretty much every night. You just have to get your notification. You click the subscribe to the channel, and right when you do that, you might have to unsubscribe first, but you hit the subscribe button, the notification bell, and all videos, and then you have to have your devices set up for being notified. Everybody says, oh, I do that, Gray. It's bull crap, okay? It's bull crap. I literally, I have like 1% of all of my subscribers are set to be notified on all, it's like, it's not even close. That information's out there. Well, I would think that if they looked up the other cards and those were dead people, that would make a big difference. Wouldn't it be interesting? Wow, wouldn't that be crazy? Well, that can't be. But I was thinking that other case where they brought the parents in, if that card, if one of the pictures in that sock were that lady, but then that would basically make him an absolute suspect of that. And he wasn't, so. I just think I think those ID cards are basically memorabilia of sort of the beginning of what he ended up becoming. Like those are other times, part of a time frame. Like if you look to see when he got those, things were escalating. He got those ID cards and he kept them, and they were just part of some other timing, that he was. I don't know if that makes sense. What I'm just trying to say is like he just over time he kept escalating, and he would keep elements of each one of those escalations. And I think even when he does his little thumbs up, that's exactly what he's doing. Yeah, it's weird. How did he get blood on his pants, on the butt of his pants? How did that happen? I could see anywhere on the front, but like, how did he get on the back? Maybe it's not on the back. It could have been where it was sort of all over the side, and when he sat down, it made sort of a little bit of a ring where he sat, not where his butt actually was. to get new locks on her door. No, people want to get locks on their doors. Yeah, it makes you feel safer. But wasn't there somebody that said that, that somebody was stalking them? They found one of them, I think. Yeah, they said that Xana fought hard, and so did, I think, Kaylee. I think what happened up there is, like I said before, his sole target was Madison Mogen. We've been saying this for way over a year at this point. And that was her sole target, and then when he kills Madison, I think my thought is he was going to leave the knife sheath as a calling card, and it would just been one little clean kill with a calling card sitting next to her, a K-bar knife sheath, with no way of ever being able to determine where that knife sheath came from. Except when he cleaned the knife sheath before putting it there, he missed one little spot on the back of the button snap of the sheath. And that's what gave him away. And he's like hitting himself for not doing a good enough job cleaning that. But what happened was, Kaylee woke up, and then he got really pissed because it kind of ruined what he wanted to do. He was probably going to kill her and sit there for a while, maybe, do some, whatever he's going to do, self-pleasure, whatever, we don't know. And she ruined that for him. So he just went nuts on Kaylee, punched her in the face over and over again, probably, stabbed her big time, killed her. Then I think he then still left the sheath because that was part of his plan, and it wasn't too bad, so he leaves it there. But then he's sitting there, and then at that point, that's when Xana comes up, looks into the room, and then starts walking down the stairs and says, "Hey, there's somebody here." And then Kohberger jumps up, and then he runs down the stairs, and then Xana's like, "Oh my God," and then starts running around, and he catches her up into the room, and Ethan is just absolutely, he drank a ton, he's completely, almost passed out, he's just completely out of it. And then he kills Xana in the room first, and there's probably a big battle, but I think, he didn't wake up, because he's just totally out of it. Maybe she wasn't yelling, it was just kind of loud, but it wasn't like screaming or anything. And he kills Xana, and then apparently slashed an artery on Ethan, and then he sat in a chair and then apparently carved his legs. I mean, that's crazy, just sort of out of anger, and maybe the anger towards him is he's a guy, and he's the one that gets to have these kind of girls, and I don't get to have these kind of girls, so I'm gonna do something extra here. Something like that. And then right after that, I think he leaves, and that's when Dylan sees him, and he takes a right, goes out the kitchen, and leaves. That's pretty much what my video will be about. Right there. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know if he thought he was alive or not. I thought he originally, when they said carved his legs, that he went in to incapacitate Ethan first so that he wouldn't fight. But then, I mean, that's just kind of dumb. Like, he's over there, and then he's fighting over here. And
Thanks, Gray.
thanks, Laney Carter. He was so stupid for taking his phone. He's stupid for a lot of things. Stupid for using his vehicle. That's his vehicle. Stupid for using his, having his phone even with him. He should have just left it at home on a table, but he needed it because he knew he needed it to get back home. And he would just be smart enough to keep it off during the crime, and then he would just turn it on when, he's 7 or 8 miles south of Moscow to find a way back home. And then I also think that route that he took on the way back when he's, where is that? I'm not even sure where I am. Oh, yeah. I wasn't even at the right place. Way over here. When he came up here, I thought this was interesting, this move here. Let me turn off these. Right there. See, when he's driving up Highway 195 right here, and then he takes a right. I mean, what an odd move that was. See, that to me was to avoid... you're coming in this way, you're on 195, and then you're seeing... I don't know, it just seems like for some reason he wanted to trick. He's driving up here and then does this weird cutoff and comes up this way because it's not any quicker. Like, he could have driven up here and looks like he could have taken that exit right there and got back to his house pretty easily, up here even. Like he could have just taken that exit and driven up here, especially that time of night. And it was a highway all the way, but instead he takes this weird little back route right here, going up like that. What's the point of that? Some weird movement, stuff you have to do and go all the way up here. This was a much more direct route on 195. All right, you guys. Well, we're still only about like 45% of the goal, so hoping the freaks that are here tonight will be able to help us get to the goal tonight. Yeah, I don't know. I think he probably did his VPN and used a mapping program to get across. There's no way in hell you could see on a map how to get across that crazy route that was taken. This one right here. This route across. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Right, we also have no coffees tonight. Nothing. What's going on? What makes tonight different than other nights? Nothing. Let's see, why wouldn't he get a burner phone if he make me a Kohberger? What? Wait, why can't it? What happened there? Why couldn't he get a burner phone if he needs maps? I'm against the death penalty. Does that make me a Kohberger? No, it just makes you a shit stirrer, like nobody gave a damn about what your opinion was and on death penalty, and nobody cared about. Then you bring up, does that make me a Kohberger? Yeah, I've said 100 times on here, I'm for the death penalty. However, not necessarily in the way that it is now, because we've had hundreds of people exonerated off of death row from DNA, and which means that our country has executed probably hundreds of people over the years before DNA was a thing. All right, so people just got executed and they didn't even do the crime. And I think we got to get to a point where there is no doubt I think executions should be more rare. Like you have to have certain types of evidence where it's zero doubt, not beyond reasonable doubt. Like, that just needs to be that there's zero doubt. And the fact that we've executed innocent people is just so shitty. And if you say, well, how do you know, great? Well, we've exonerated hundreds of people because of DNA, right? So that means that before DNA, those same hundreds would have all been killed. So we know that other people have been killed that were absolutely innocent. And what is even scarier is that means that there was, in those cases, a prosecutor that was selling a jury something that wasn't even real. Okay? Now, this case isn't one of those cases. This is one of those ones where, and that's rare, by the way, what I was just saying when that happens. This isn't one of those. Brian Kohberger is the killer in this case. Let's see. I do not think the roommates were... Hey, thanks, Leanne Bell. No, well, they want to be on death row for decades. You know, and by the way, yes, the way it is now, I agree with people being on death row for decades. Because we're still doing the same things that allow for people to be exonerated. And the fact that anybody's still being exonerated off of death row is absolutely, it's insane at this point. So that means that we got to keep them alive just in case. But I think if we get to the point where that doesn't exist anymore, where there's no doubt, we should have the execution should happen pretty rapidly after they've been sentenced to that. Right? Instead of sitting there waiting and waiting and waiting.
It really sucks that we have executed innocent people.
Yeah, it's just, I think that's horrendous. And until we get it right, we can't really just quickly start executing people because there's still people out there that didn't do it, that are sitting there. So we got to get to the point where the only people on death row are people where there is zero doubt. So there's these certain measures that have to be in place where there's zero doubt, not, they got, beyond a reasonable doubt. This would have to be a certain standard. And other than that, you get life without parole. And with, no chance of parole. So you just sit there. And thank you, Timothy Cecil. No, he shouldn't be free before... Yeah, that's such a dumb comment. I mean, if anybody thinks he should be out on bail, I mean, that's insanity. How about this? Let him stay at your house. Okay? Don't keep commenting to the Duckman person. Okay? Either if you don't stop commenting to them, I'm going to remove them. Okay? Because they're just here to create problems. They're not really thinking, they're just trying to create problems, and you guys are like feeding into it like you guys always say I do. So why don't you not do it? And by the way, why don't you just block? I don't even have that person. I can't even see that person, so you should probably just block them. Oh, there they are right there. Yeah, you be quiet now. If you make another comment like that, Duckman, I'll be blocking you. All right? Thanks. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. We'll let him stay at your house, though, okay? As soon as we let him out, though. He's great. He's a great guy. Let him out. That's what I mean. Zero doubt would be something like you have a whole bunch of elements, like DNA, video, like really, like a certain, like maybe you have different categories of information that have to be, and inside of those categories of information are certain, there's a level that you have to reach on each of these categories or you can't have the death penalty. So there has to be Like, there's 5 different areas, and each one of those is, there's no doubt on those 5 things, and then you can do it. But I don't know what you do. I mean, that's something that the courts would have to decide. Yeah, we don't know about that. The Mad Greek restaurant, like thousands of other restaurants, I get so tired of people saying that Mad Greek is a vegan restaurant. It's the same as every other place. They have a menu that you can eat vegetarian food. Okay? Now, those people, that Mad Greek said he'd never been there. Now, we'll see what the trial says. Maybe they were told not to say that. Yeah. I mean, Kohberger, I think he was really unlucky. I mean, in the actual crime as well. Because, like that one night, Kaylee's visiting. I don't even think her bed was there. So Kaylee's room didn't even have a bed, I don't think. So she's just hanging out, showing the new car, and she's staying on the bed of Madison Mogen that night. And he had no way of knowing that was going to happen. He wanted to sneak in, kill Madison, and leave. And I think he was going to leave a knife sheath, because it wouldn't even be fun for him at that point. Like, he wouldn't be able to be out there and discuss any, it's just sort of like there's this person that was killed, and that's it. He needs to have the calling card and all the cool little serial killer things. All right, we're still only got the 12 memberships gifted total, and we're not even close still, you guys. We are at 55% of a nightly goal with 400 and some odd people. Should be pretty easy to get there. Yeah, if she didn't visit, she'd still be alive, and Ethan would still be alive, and Xana would be alive. The only person that would be dead is Madison Mogen. And the DoorDash delivery, the fact that there is DoorDash delivery is also probably why Xana isn't alive, but the DoorDash delivery is also the reason that they have an image of Kohberger's vehicle missing a front license plate. So, there you go. Yeah, so there's the DoorDash bag. And I think that this is how it looked. That's a Starbucks cup there. And I think this might have been in Xana's room too. Like, maybe that was in Xana's room and this bag was in Xana's room. Or maybe not. Maybe this was just sitting there. For sure, what I probably should do is have... I don't know, man. I mean, see, the bag right here is how the bag probably existed when law enforcement got there. Then they moved. I think that's the same bag right there. And there's that same cup. And, Zozo was just talking about this colander is the same one that's in the sink right there, perhaps. Maybe. Let's see. Yeah, it does seem to have the same kind of ridge on it. I don't know if it's like there's an inner... I don't know. That looks like different... that looks different. This looks like a wire colander. And this one here looks like mainly metal with slits in it. So I don't think that's the same one. But, well, I don't know. This handle's similar. Let's see. I don't know. Yeah, that handle there does look similar. But, oh, I see what it is. It's... That's wild. Like that handle right there is this handle. So I guess we just can't see whatever that is, the inside of it or something. But anyways, that cup's the same cup, and Basically, it looks like law enforcement probably emptied out the contents of the sink and moved everything over to a table. Maybe they used the sink to mix stuff or whatever they need for their forensics. And maybe they checked the sink to see if anything rinsed down it. Don't know. There was also these cups you could see in another one, so I don't remember what happened there, but these cups in a different image that I've seen, you could see those also. But the bag looks a little bit more crumpled up when they moved it over here. I think that's it, isn't it? I don't know. Maybe it's the other side. I don't know if that's the same bag or not. Yeah, I could use a coffee or something. I don't know what's going on tonight. You guys, my channel relies on the generosity of the people watching the shows. You know, think of me as a Starbucks person. You're tipping the show. We do, my channel each month donates over usually $3,000 to $4,000 to $5,000 at the end of the month to various true crime related charities. And when we don't make goals, it makes it harder and harder to do that because I have a certain amount that I have to use to keep doing the shows. All right, so if you guys are out there, if you could please help support the channel, maybe become a channel member, buy some memberships for people out there that don't have them, that would be cool. But we need to get the support up for tonight. All right, thank you. I don't remember what image that was where I could see these cups where they were over here too. I think there's other images of this. Let me see. Yeah, so we got that cup. That's exactly the same one as that. You can see that it's the same fill. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where that one was where I could see those other cups. Hey, there's Elizabeth Brown. Just gifted a membership. And Theo Roy just did a super sticker. Yeah, it does kind of. I was thinking that it looks different. That does kind of look like popcorn or something. It could just be the other side of the bag. But that cup there is the same. For sure. And that's a different photo than the one we were just looking at, right? That's, well, I guess it's pretty similar. We got the handle. Oh yeah, and that bowl. See the bowl right there? That's right there in the sink. And it looks like maybe that little plate thing right there might be this, maybe, or maybe even that. It's hard to say. Oh, I see it. Look at this. Watch this. See this plate right here with the green bowl and the black bowl and the spoon? That's right here. There's the plate, the green bowl, and the black bowl. I think that's it. It's funny. So it's all just sitting right there. Yeah, that's what I was just saying. It looks like there might be maybe that white plate like right there, and then the green bowl and the black bowl. But anyways, it's, you know, it's all there. Hey, thanks, Shay 530. God, you couldn't what? God, I couldn't. All right, so for the people that just got here, I'll show you the Where we are at in the animation now. Okay, so here we go. Here's the sliding glass door, and it goes into the kitchen, around, then up the stairs, with his K-bar knife in his hand there. I just used the blue gloves just to have some different look there. Goes into Madison's room, and this is where he goes nuts. He starts, I just kind of make it sort of blurry. You don't really see what's going on up there. Then here's Dylan. She hears something. Sounds like somebody playing with the dog upstairs. She's looking around. And then this person's still up there attacking. And then she goes back in her room. And that attack's going. Now Xana's going to be carrying her little DoorDash bag, heading to the kitchen right there. And goes into the kitchen. And then, that's where I am now. So she'll be in the kitchen. Eventually she'll turn around and hear some noise. And then go up the stairs, etc. Right, so doesn't that right there deserve super chats, you guys? Just me, I spent the entire day just doing that extra update there. That's the whole thing. And when I put the video out, it'll get 8,000 views and get smoked. I guarantee it. So, need you guys' support on the channel. Yeah, you'd think so, Timothy, but it won't turn out that way. Did you hear his mom said that? Huh? The hell are you talking about? Now, the prosecutor never offered anybody a plea deal. That's complete garbage. That's complete garbage. There's been no plea deal given to Kohberger. The families of the victims all do not want to give Kohberger a plea deal. No, I don't think Kaylee said there's somebody here. I guess, what do you do? Say, wake up, Madison, there's somebody here! Something like that, I guess. I think it's Xana who said it after going upstairs and seeing him, because that's what law enforcement thinks. Yep. Thanks, DM, for the 11 months. Yeah, well, I'm not done yet. I'm not even I think this is only about a third of the way done, this thing. It's not even close. It's just... Oh, you mean the actual attacks? Yeah. Mm-hmm. I guess that's his sister right there, right? In the little movie that she made. Thanks, self-esteem. Man, you guys are just... I don't know what to say. It's just so tough tonight, again. We do not know if there has been a deal offered. No, there wasn't a deal offered. I know that. Because none of the family members would want a deal. So, there you go. I've already talked to family members, and they said, no way. And they would ask the family first before a deal was ever offered. And they all said they don't want a deal because Kohberger deserves the death penalty. Alright, so there's the answer. Now, he might be asking for one himself. Now, the dog is irrelevant in the case. I don't know why everybody focuses in on the dog and how it didn't walk around. Who cares? It didn't. Okay? It didn't get into the blood. How it didn't get into the blood has nothing to do with anything, Maybe Kohberger did something like shut the door and it barked outside the back balcony. Who the hell knows? But it's irrelevant to the case. It doesn't have any It has nothing to do with how the murders happened or anything like that. Thanks, Urban Infidel. Yeah, people always have a lot of questions about stuff that doesn't matter. Like, oh, hey, how come Dylan didn't do this or Dylan didn't do that? And then you ask them, do you think Dylan had something to do with the murders? They go, no, well, then who cares? I can understand originally wondering, but it's been explained 1,000 times already, where it just absolutely makes sense to rational-minded people how she might not have, or even Bethany might not have actually called 911, because they didn't see what actually happened, and they didn't want to see what actually happened, nor would they put themselves in a situation where they would see exactly what happened. It was only when the friend came over, the hunter, who also didn't allow them to see what happened, and then when the 911 call came in, Hunter still didn't allow them to see exactly what happened. All right, so it's just really strange how so many people just have to just keep going, well, how come? I mean, why would she? The reason you're saying that is because you're suspicious of them, of being part of something. And that's the only reason you'd keep asking it. I have never cared at all. Like, as soon as I heard it, I go, oh man, I know exactly what that would probably feel like. They didn't want to verify the fears. Once you verify it, it becomes real. And that's just that's the reality. Plus, they're college students.
Loving the sarcasm. Please do more red heart emoji.
No, that's what I do. I'm a sarcastic person. That's the dry humor. We've seen and heard quite a bit of evidence already. Yeah. We haven't heard the case yet. So we haven't heard the case yet. Okay. All right, buddy. Yeah. Brian Kohberger is the killer, everybody. Just listen to me. Brian Kohberger is the killer. Yes, it's my opinion. Okay? But it's also a fact. He 100% is the guy. The only people who can't see that he's the killer are people who watch a literal clown on YouTube and a guy from the UK and a bunch of other idiots who put out videos that are disgustingly sick. Like, they put them out there just to trick people. They don't even believe what they're telling you. They just do it because it'll get clicks and views, and they get a lot of views and a lot of people all amped up to go watch it. And it's garbage. And you're one of the people that watches it. Like, you probably believe the lime green Elantra's bull crap story, all that stuff like that, and it's just garbage. All right, so just realize that. That's the truth. You're being sold a bill of goods by a bunch of unethical crap YouTubers who aren't in the true crime community. They're just what do you call them? Sort of drama and crime mixed together. Garbage. Now, if you want to put your faith into that, you go right ahead. Okay, but I mean, I could just lay out a narrative for you that you just, the problem is if you don't have common sense, then you're somebody that should never be serve on a jury ever. Okay, because common sense is needed in cases. If you don't have common sense, then that means there's something wrong with you, and you probably should try to figure out a way not to serve on a jury at any point in time in your life. No, if it's ever out there, I'm going to. I'll definitely strike whoever puts it out there because it's not meant. It's just for my channel. Yeah, and I won't even delay. It'll just happen. Hey, thanks, Ted Bundy. Gray is a clown. Thanks, John B. What does that make you? Look at your picture. You look like a clown just in your picture there. That's wild. Yeah, I've been back to the show. This is the show. Yeah, how about we got to try to get to the goal tonight, though, you guys. It's been very slow. Now we always have pro-burgers that show up. They believe a lime green Elantra is the savior to Brian Kohberger. You know, a lime green Elantra apparently owned by a person who lived in the 500 Queen Road apartment complex. You know, of course, when he lives there, he has to drive around the, you know, the complex like 5 times that night. When he lives right there, why wouldn't he just walk over there? Well, that's a good point. That's a good point. Well, don't you know that lime green looks white on a surveillance camera gray, the night vision? In fact, it's even the car that you see over there at the Ridge Road camera without the front license plate. See, look. Well, unfortunately for you, the vehicle spotted at the Ridge Road camera it's showing a red tail light. That wouldn't show as red on a night vision camera, would it? Oh, that's a good point. Well, it's white too. It's a really very white vehicle in that shot there. So there's no night vision effect on that shot. Okay, well, it's still his car at the other place then. Well, does it make sense that he was driving around his car in the complex when he lives there? Does that make sense to you? Why would he do that? Just keep driving around so that his own vehicle could be spotted doing loops when he could have just snuck out of his apartment, went over and killed them. Yeah, see, these people have the IQ of a fish. And I mean a goldfish, you know. I don't think they even offered that car in green for... You know, that somebody made a video about that lime green car a year ago. But some of these wacko pro-burgers just stumbling around out there found it, and they've pretended that it was their own theory, and they came up with this whole thing, and the guy that originally came up with it, you know, the hell with him, right? I mean, so all these people pretend that, oh, look at this lime green, and then they give the tip to and I think this is the Ann Taylor's tip, because the timing is exactly the same. We just got this new information, a tip came in. You know what it was? The lime green Elantra, everybody. You know, maybe it's lime green cilantro. Let's see. Found diamond pattern shoe prints. Right, the Van style shoes, remember? Let's see. If only I was green. Elantra, I'd be rich. Well, I hope the guy that they keep accusing and putting his name out there sues all those people. Okay? I do too. Cilantro, it's okay, I guess, on like salsa or something, but other than that, it sucks. This is green crap they put on salsa. Looks like parsley or something. Oh, weird. Where did this come from? Huh. Here, let's see if we can find the... I'll show you what the vehicle that they're talking about. Here, watch. I showed it the other day, but we'll do it again. Is it this one? Hey, Curly Lock Dive gifted a membership. Thank you. Oh, that's the wrong one. What if we see it in this one too? Probably not. Oh, wait, there it is. Look at that. That's in a different video. But see, I don't know if that's like, some people say that that's like a license plate wrapped around the bottom portion there. But it definitely isn't where it's supposed to be on an Elantra. But this is a different video that has that in there. It's pretty funny. So let's see if it drives by the front of this camera. Ah, man. Alright, so I see it right there. Let's just... Ah! Jesus, that's so loud. Let me just mute that. Alright, there it is. There's the lime green Elantra. Alright, does it drive by this camera? Can you see it? It shouldn't be too long after this. But this might be high enough where it goes underneath this. Oh, there it is. Ah. God, what bad luck. What bad luck. That's crazy. That sucks. If it was just a little lower, you could see if it had that signature tail light on a 2015 God dang it. So you can't tell because I needed to see a little bit lower to see if it had that 2015. I don't think it does though. See, there it is right there. Same car, same. There's just another camera to the right of this camera that filmed the last one. The other video was clear though, but unfortunately they have this little bar there. Hey, thanks, Delaney G.
I only listen to you. Respect and appreciate all you do for those beautiful kids and their families.
Well, thank you. Alright, here we go. Can you guys... let me make that a little bit bigger. For this one, if that stupid thing wasn't there, it'd be better. But look, I don't see the little red taillight thing. I mean, I know it's, you know, and you don't see it there, and you also don't see it in there. Okay, there's supposed to be this little red... here, I'll show you. 2015 white Elantra, what is it, SE or something? I don't know. Let's see, side shot. Yeah. I don't know, can you guys see that at all down there? That's too small. Right there.
Kohbergers are getting pretty desperate.
See that? That little red light there. I don't think we can see that. I can see all this. So everybody remember this little shape. If we, basically, let's flip it around. Can I do that? In this software? I don't know. I mean, there's this thing up here, but that's just rotating it. Here, I'll just take this and bring it into Photoshop. This will be the best way to do a good comparison here. Now, some people say that color didn't exist at that time. But let's see, where are we at here? We're probably at like, we need another like 18 channel members for me to be able to gift my 5. All right, let's see, file, new, create. All right. And then edit, transform. That's not what I want. Transform. The hell's there it is. Flip horizontally. All right, so this will be what we're looking for right there. This little thing. All right, now let's go back to this program and let's see if we can see it. So I don't see it there. See that line, that thing right there? That's obviously this. Okay, I mean, it looks exactly the same, right? Everybody sees that, right? Now it's right down here. You can see the whole damn thing. See that? There you go. You see that. There it is. But I don't see, like, I see sort of a smudgy thing there. I don't think that would be, that this doesn't look like a light at all. You know, it doesn't have any look like a light at all. It looks like, let's just see if that would even make sense. I guess it's possible. It is right at the right spot. Right there. And there's like a little darkness. Let me see what happens if we change the... That does kind of look like that could be that spot. Yeah, so what they're saying, it's the same year, missing a front plate, and it's lime green, and lime green can look white on surveillance footage. Except this shot right here is from December of 2023, number 1, and the person lives there. So why would he be doing laps around 500 Queen Road if he lived there? Does that make sense to anybody? And all I have to do is find the person, ask him a few questions. I mean, it's just, it's so stupid. It's unreal. So I guess that could be that little dark, that little spot that you see right there. In that shot right there. Let's see, color. So that would be the spot right there. Yeah, and I guess it could be the light there. It's hard to Hard to say. It is a tiny, small little light with the blurry shit going on, but there it is up there. Yeah, I guess that could be that little light like that. It's definitely in the same spot, so could be. But you know that they've said that it's the same year and everything. It has that light there. Thanks, Allie Cake, for gifting a membership. We just need other people to help support the channel tonight so we can get to the goal. We're still not even there. Oh yeah, that's a good point. Let's go look at that. Didn't even think of that. I was thinking about the lighting. Yeah. Can you take the fin off though? I mean, why doesn't it have the fin? This is a year later though, this shot right here. Yeah, it doesn't have the fin up there. Yes, it's possible to remove the shark fin antenna from a 2015 Honda Elantra. The removal process involves carefully disengaging the antenna from the base on the roof. I guess you can take that off. So I don't know, you know. I mean, it's definitely removable, so you got that. Yeah, it's... See, that's what I'm saying. When you argue with a conspiracy theorist, they don't have to... They just can come up with, is it possible to do something? And then they say, yep, there's the answer. Yeah, sure, it's possible to take that off. But here's the thing they never answer is, why is the car driving around for 50 minutes in a complex that the person lives in? Can anybody in here come up with something reasonable for that? Hey, Kohbergers, I know that there's some of you that are watching right now. Tell me why the person living there with this lime green Elantra would be driving around in loops inside the complex on that night. Just one person. Hello, come on, Kohbergers. There's always 10 of you watching, at least. What's the answer? If they lived in the complex, why are they driving around doing loops? Well, because they've got OCD too, Gray. But I mean, what would be the OCD thing that got them out of bed to drive around in loops for 50 minutes? That's a good point, Gray, but I don't know. It's got to be something. Go ahead, give me the answer. I'm going to start sounding like Arnold Horshack. Go ahead, go ahead. I always hated that. You know, remember that show Welcome Back Carter? Or Cotter, or Cotta, whatever the hell his name is? I couldn't stand Arnold Horshack. I mean, that guy, I felt like he almost ruined the show single-handedly. Come on, put an amen in there. Yeah, Cotter. That's right. Yeah, it's Cotter. That's right. Come on. He was horrendous. Because, well, he does. Apparently they say he lived back there. That's what they've said, these people, because they've looked into him. They're stalkers, the people on YouTube. Oh, he's looking for his lost cat. Oh, there you go. Just doing loops over and over again, driving around all the way back on Walanta Drive and clear back around on Ridge Road, and then when he saw the DoorDash driver, he goes, well, shit, the cat can't be there. Let me keep driving down Taylor Avenue around the other direction. Mm-hmm. All right, guys, what's it going to take tonight to reach the goal? We can do it. Maybe they were trying to get an unevenly balanced tire to wear itself out more evenly. Oh, Jesus. Yikes. And then it parked for 8 minutes right when the murders happened, and then it drove away at a high rate of speed right after the murders happened. Wow, that's so weird. Man, that's crazy. Yeah, this will be the only night we haven't made the goal this month, or this entire month. So we can do it. We are only, we're quite a ways. Up your nose with a rubber hose. Ah, jeez. Remember that Arnold Horseshack's laugh? Jeez.
Up your nose with a rubber hose.
And then Vinnie Barbarino, which John Travolta got his claim to fame. That's how he got it started there. Right. I just don't understand. It should be pretty simple with 400 and something people. I mean, any amount helps the channel out. It just seems so simple. And this is how I am on every show. I try to reach the goals because I know what it takes to get to where at the end of the month where we can donate thousands, and I can't do it if like we have a certain amount of number. I have to take care of my own channel and everything like that. He was so cool when I was young, but yeah. When you get older, it's kind of a dumb show, man. When you watch it later. I'm trying to figure out how adults liked the show when it was new. All right, well, it doesn't have the fin on it, that's for sure. And this is a year later. And, unfortunately, we've had people even on the correct side put out videos recently that are the same level of just wild speculation. So it's kind of like, Hey, thanks, Sassy T and Carolina. Let's see. All right, I think we're only about 11 channel memberships short now. Gray, any word on where Brian Kohberger's Elantra is now? Nope. Did they transport it to... I'm sure they have it wherever they, store their investigative stuff. Or, I guess it's possible they just handed it back over. I mean... I guess there was nothing really in it. But as we heard earlier, he was cleaning the car with bleach. Law enforcement actually observed him cleaning the car with bleach. Who does that? I do, Gray. I use bleach all the time in my car. Oh yeah, you're crazy. Practicing for his driving tests. Yeah, dark driving at night. Don't you think it's also incredibly strange that when this lime green Elantra was driving around, it parked outside the house on each and every loop it did, and then it drove away as if it was looking through the window of Madison Mogan? And remember how the lights hit 1127 as it turned? So that means it turned and then stopped and parked. One time for over a minute, and a couple other times for 20 or 30 seconds it stopped. Wow, that's so weird. It's almost like the lime green Elantra had some sort of business at the house there. And if that's true, again, why was it driving around? Yeah. And boy, what a cavalier... Once they designated it as a white Elantra, he was so happy. He felt like he could go out and almost, be a showman with his car. Look at me, I've got a green one. It can't be me, everybody. I'm going to drive around even when they're tearing the building down. I'm going to... Yeah, and by the way, I guess bleach doesn't actually destroy and get rid of blood. That's just sort of a misnomer. Well, maybe it used to do a pretty good job, but not in today's technology. I just don't think he brought much blood into the house. And that's because he knew how to not contaminate a crime scene. He even wrote a paper on it in his master's degree program. Isn't that amazing, everybody? What type of person would most likely not leave any forensic information at a crime scene? Well, somebody who knows how to not contaminate a crime scene. AKA Brian Kohberger. I got a kill suit. I'm not sure what he had. Maybe Kohberger's car turned white after he bleached it. Oh man, no, the lime green one. Oh, you mean he drove a lime green? It can't be because it was already. Let's see, I've got a picture of it right here. Look it. They say that this is night vision, and this is actually a lime green car because just after this, or just before this, you can see that it's missing a front license plate. But if you notice something, that's a red taillight, right? You can't see red like that when it's using night vision. So this is actually just standard video, and that's why there's a lot of shutter speed or slow shutter speed on this, and it's blurry. See how big the fin looks there and all that? The actual shape of the car is like that, but the speed and the slow shutter speed of the camera is what has that blurry effect all around. But look, it's red right there. Oops. Now they're not saying that that's the car anymore. Guess they didn't think through that originally. Huh? Who are you talking to? Gray, do you get more troll conspiracy crowds than other intelligent? Oh, way more, yeah. Because I actually call them out, I let them know how idiotic they are, and, they don't like it. And it is idiotic. It's not... See, the thing is, look at this case. If I was sitting down and I was able to explain the case to a random person, by the time I was done explaining it to them with the actual known facts in the case, they would go, Yeah, are you a troll? Is this Cindy J a troll version? You know, now we don't even know. Is this Cindy J the troll version? Is that even her real account? Because now we don't know because she's not a member anymore. I think that's the troll version. No, I think that's the troll version. Somebody blocked that one. Because Cindy wouldn't say that. Oh, I see. Never mind. Cindy's pretending to be a troll. I see. Yeah, but don't do it, Cindy, because it's not funny when you do it, and it just doesn't work for you. Okay? It doesn't work for you, Cindy. So just don't do your little joking and goofy. It doesn't... you've never really been a funny person. So when you're trying to be sarcastic like that, it doesn't work. Okay? And you said you when I said, who are you talking to? You didn't say the chat. Jeez, how stupid. Let me see. I don't even know what the hell we were talking about now. Had to deal with the... Cindy's like the most disruptive viewer that I've ever had on this channel. So what were we talking about right before that? Give them the touch DNA information and 90% of the random person would say, yeah. I mean, you could just sit there and go through all the information with a random person and they would come out going, oh my God, he's toast. And that's what regular people are. You know, that's how regular people think. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, I'm just blunt, sarcastic, dry humor on this channel. And a lot of times if you don't get it, you go leaving crying, you know. Just think about it, man. You got this guy who is a criminology doctoral student. Thought so highly of, he was actually a TA in a class. And he knew how to not contaminate a crime scene based on some papers he wrote. And then on the night of okay, then you could even say, then there was a pool party where it was in Moscow, Idaho, just within a couple miles of the residence. Then he goes to the party, and you know, he's a little awkward. And that same night, his vehicle was within 100 meters of the residence of 1122 King Road. And then 22 more times up until the homicides, he was there within 100 meters of that residence. And then on the night of the homicides, he... shit. I can even open this up. I can tell you right here. Watch this.
Gray, there is more than one camera.
He was watching
Claim they
YouTube.
all had night vision?
Huh?
I don't get this theory.
What? Gray, there's more. Yeah, they're all... Well, see, apparently lime green Elantras can look white in night vision. And so all the cameras that picked it up using night vision, they can claim, oh, look, see, it was really this other vehicle. But the one on Ridge Road was a normal camera. That's why it has a red tail light. And that's the key camera that picked up a white Elantra missing its front plate. That's a 2015, you know, in that range. There's like 14, 15, 16 Elantra. And it's white. So... You know, they want to claim that the white Elantra wasn't really white, it was a lime green one, by a guy who lived in that complex, and he just thought for 50 minutes that night he would just do loops and park and stop and loops and parks and park and stop and just keep driving around in circles. You know, that's what they want you to believe. All right? But yeah, he was watching YouTube videos that night, and then right around 2:42, he leaves his residence. And then while he's in southern Pullman, Washington, at 2:54, he turns his phone off. Then, just 8 minutes later, exactly the amount of time it would take, his vehicle spotted at what the hell's the name of that cigar shop? Or not a cigar, it was, what's the name of that place over here? It was like right here, this building. No, this one right here, there it is. Floyd's Cannabis Shop, not cigar. So at, I think it was, don't I have it in here? 302? Yeah, right there. Floyd's Cannabis Shop. So his phone turns off at 2:54. Then at 3:02, his vehicle spotted at Floyd's Cannabis Shop. Then at 3:26, it's on Indian Hills Drive, and it's now basically the like a plane of death making its approach into the area. It drives right around from here up like this, passes the A&W restaurant, drives into the area, and it starts its first of basically 4 passes, but there's 4 A and B. And so this vehicle, matching Kohberger's vehicle, is driving in the area while Kohberger's phone is turned off, and it's driving around. So this vehicle matches Kohberger's. Okay, I'm with you here, I'm with you there. It's driving around, it's missing a front plate. And the reason he doesn't need a front plate is because he's from Pennsylvania, and they don't require front license plate. And so now he's driving around, and then he makes 4 passes. And on the 4th pass, after doing a 3-point turn, turning around, coming back, he parks for the final time at 4:08. And in between 4:08 and 4:20 and 47 seconds, that vehicle was parked there. And inside that time frame, in a smaller window inside that time frame, is when all the victims were killed at 1122 King Road, while the white Elantra, missing a front plate, was parked outside the residence. And then the vehicle speeds away at a high rate of speed, and then just 20 minutes later, the phone pings near Blaine, Idaho, when he turns his phone back on, just 6 or 7 miles south of Moscow, Idaho. Then it turns out inside the house, when all 4 victims were killed, a knife sheath was left on a bed of Madison Mogan. On the bed was Kaylee Gonzalez and Madison Mogan, and on Madison Mogan's right side, tucked underneath the blanket a little bit there, was a knife sheath. And then on the knife sheath, when they tested the DNA, they first put it into CODIS and could not find a match, then did forensic genetic genealogy, and the FBI provided a tip to law enforcement that it was Brian Kohberger, then based on that genetic genealogy, and then that led back to the father after testing the DNA out of the garbage cans, and then that was enough to get a warrant for Brian Kohberger, who then was arrested and then swabbed, and his DNA matched the DNA on the knife sheath 100%. I mean, like in the octillion range, 1 in 6 octillion or something to 1 that it's somebody else. And so it is Brian Kohberger's DNA. So that means that the white Elantra that we thought might be his, had a really good suspicion that might be his, because he turned his phone off and was driving around without a front license plate. Now it turns out that that is his vehicle without any reasonable doubt at all, because his DNA is on the knife sheath that was found in the room of one of the victims. So those two marry together an absolute fact that that white Elantra driving around is Brian Kohberger's white Elantra, and he is the killer, and he's the one that deposited the knife sheath. Turns out, after further investigation, that he purchased in March of 2022 a K-bar knife. Exact same make and model as the sheath that was found on the bed. Turns out a couple months before that, he bought a balaclava, which is exactly what Dylan Mortensen said she saw, a man that was exactly Kohberger's height, around 6 feet, athletically built, and he had bushy eyebrows, and he was wearing a balaclava. Kohberger has bushy eyebrows, and he purchased a balaclava. All right, so you got that. Then, 2 days after the homicides, Kohberger's searching how to purchase another K-bar knife. And then just 7 days after that, he's looking up how to purchase just knife sheaths. And who buys knife sheaths? Well, somebody who lost theirs. Okay, and so there you go. I mean, there's other things to put in there, but I mean, that's enough where if you're on a jury, you just kind of go, yeah, that's the guy, you know. There is no reasonable doubt whatsoever. All right, you guys, we need about 6 more new channel members, and then I'll donate 5 memberships myself. Can we do that? I think it's actually 7, but if we get 7 more channel memberships, I'll donate 5, and then we'll be at our sort of the minimum goal for lately, you know. I'm sure you guys can do it. They wouldn't get on a jury if they were anti-death. Right. You have to be willing to sentence somebody to death to be on a death penalty jury. That's a good way not to be on a jury that has a death penalty. You just say, yeah, I'm against it. I can't do it. Because the GPS coordinates show that it's personal. That's why. Yeah, well, there's GPS coordinates, and the GPS coordinates can only be two different numbers. And the one number it looks the most like puts it at the back of the house. The other number, ironically, puts it at the front of the house, but it doesn't look like the front number. I think it was like a 6 or a 9 or something like that, or an 8. Like an 8 or something. And it just definitely didn't look, the other number doesn't look anything like. And so the other number, it does look like, to me, if that's correct, that it was delivered to the back of the house. I think I even have the number sitting here. It was, yeah, there it is right there. Although I don't know if that's the right one. Let's see. Maybe grab that. So did you guys hear me? We just need 6 or 7 new channel memberships, and then I'll donate 5 myself. So it's kind of a double whammy. Where is it? I guess that is basically. Oh, is that it right there? Yeah. See, that's the number that it doesn't look like. See the 9 right there? See, that would look like the front door, but that's inside the house. See that? I'll make that purple. Man, come on, you guys. Jesus. Unreal. Did I save that? Let me change the number up here to an 8. Yeah, see, look where it puts it. When that number is an 8, it's at the back door, and that's exactly what the number looks like. It does not look like a 9. It looks like an 8, and it puts it right at the back door. See how it moved it here? If I make that a 9 right here, it puts it back at the, sort of near the front of the house. All right? So there you go. But when you look at it, definitely looks like an 8. I don't have it right in front of me right now to look at again, and I don't remember which document it was in. What do you mean have I covered the... What do you mean by I covered the Johnson Road sighting? I don't know what that means. I've covered the case. There's, it drove by Johnson Road. They said at 5:20 on the documentary. And also, I just don't know what you're saying. Hey, thanks Lisa Valenzuela. Oh, and Sharon for the coffee, and we have Rebel Red for the coffee. I guess I didn't see these. And Ted Bundy. All right, so all we need is 5 coffees. All right. So law enforcement who think he knew the knife, threw the knife. They just say that though, because he drove down to Clarkston. I mean, sure, he could have. He could have put it anywhere. What we do know is that there are 16 minutes of missing time before the vehicle gets to Blaine. Now, I've never heard law enforcement or any of these so-called experts on these shows ever talk about this. It's a real thing that really happened. Okay, you want me? Let's just do it right here on the show. I'll show it to you. Watch this. All right, let's just do it. So here is, let's just go to, let's do directions. I'll do it specifically how they have it. So starting from, we'll just go right here. Okay, that's where 4:20 and 47 seconds is right there. And then we'll add little spots like, okay, right here. All right, and then I have to go, I think that's right here. Another one. I think I can just go here and it should make it to, yeah, that's the right route. And then here. Then let's add another one and go. Okay, there's Blaine. And then there's actually a cell tower that's right around in here, but let's just go to here. Right there. All right? You see what I'm doing right now? Okay, did you guys hear what I said? We need 5 more channel memberships to get to the goal so I can donate the 5 memberships. All right? Should be able to do it. Now we need 4 more. All right, so there it is. It's 12 minutes right there. Now add 12 minutes. What do you get when you add 12 to 4:20? What do you guys get? I'll let you do the math. Add 12 minutes to 4:20 and 47 seconds. Hello? Oh, Jesus. Cyray's an idiot, okay, in my opinion. Every time anybody brings them up, they just lose credibility. All right, so there he goes. 4:32 and 40. It should be 4:32 and 47 seconds. All right. But his phone pinged right here at 4:48. See what I'm saying? There's missing time. If that's the route that he took, there's missing time. However, there's a route that you can take if you drive way over here and then down, stuff like that, and then you come out down, actually like down in this area right here. And then maybe, but the phone pinged west of Blaine. That was in the new documentary. We'd never heard that before. We didn't know what side of Blaine. It could have pinged over here for all we knew. But now it's west, so that means it's over here. And what does that mean? Does that mean that he took these back roads and then came out through here and then turned his phone on when he was right there And then, yes, then at that point it pings west of Blaine. And thanks, Paulette and Timothy Cecil. So I guess we need 2 more coffees. Oh, man, I've never seen such a struggle as tonight. In the videos at night, there must have been 100 trash cans right next to the road for pickup. I don't know. I think that's what it looks like in colleges. You know what we could do is check that out. Let's see. What day does trash... what day does the trash collector pick up trash on Taylor Avenue in Moscow, Idaho? And that'd be sort of an interesting thing to look at, right? What day is my recycling collected? Well, you wouldn't put it in there. I mean, is that what people just call it? I don't know. I'm not sure I really want to spend time digging around, looking at when trash is picked up. I mean, what is that going to get you anyways? I mean, he might have looked it up, like, okay, if I do this on Sunday, they pick up trash in this one particular place on Monday, and if I drive by there, I can throw it in that trash, and then it would never be found. Something like that. Listen, hey, Duckman, just listen for a second. Cy-Ray is a discredited person. He is not to be trusted, all right? Thank you. And you seem totally clueless. And again, if you keep going down the same route, I'm just going to remove you because you're saying inaccurate things. He had his software showed that a person that the prosecutors claimed was stalking somebody. It showed that, oh man, he's right next to the house. He's right next to the house. Ooh, look at this every single night. And then his vehicle had GPS on it and showed he was nowhere near there. So the judge just said, this is garbage. Why don't you go look it up, man? Take some of your own time and realize that this guy, he'll say and do whatever it takes for his client. Okay, he'll massage the information. And I'm sure, unfortunately, it sounds like, I hope to God there aren't a lot of convictions underneath Cy-Ray. Because I could see at some point somebody looking over his work in previous cases, given the fact that this judge seemed to be one of the few that actually stood up for it. I don't give a shit if he gave a sworn affidavit, Duckman. I don't care what he did. He did the same thing when he was in court. He had to swear in front of the judge, and he put out completely bogus information, and the judge admonished him. It was horrible, okay? So you got to wonder... Yeah, no, if you have any cases at all, and then that just means that let's say you didn't have GPS in your car, and then they just would have relied on what Cy-Ray said. Oh, he was stalking. He was right there. Look at that. He was there every single day. But this guy just happened to have GPS in his car, and it completely exonerated him of that information. So think about what it would have been. See, this is exactly the whole death penalty thing, That's why, because there's people like this that put out stuff intentionally, and it's false, and it can, lead to arrest or sentencing of somebody that's completely innocent, or them being found guilty. Oh, is that who? Are you sure about that? Buried fish heads? God, that idiot's still out there? My God, I thought he disappeared. Let's see. He worked for prosecution, so by saying all those people would get let free by... Huh? Let's see. Man. Oh, God. Let's hear what Nick Balance says on the stand. Oh, God, it's going to be... Kohberger's the killer, Duckman. Don't you get it? All right, he doesn't have an alibi. He turned his phone off. He wasn't looking at stars. It was cloudy that night. His vehicle was spotted within a third of a mile from the house that night. His phone was there 23 times prior. Let's see. I don't know. I just don't get it, man. These people they do mental gymnastics to try to get Kohberger off. They almost want him to, they want a kill. Let's say they had the ability to find a technicality to get Kohberger off. They'd do it. Even if they knew that he killed 4 people. They'd want him to get off on a technicality. That's how sick these people are. They go out of their way to find a technicality to free a quadruple killer. Hey, thanks, Sassy T. I'm just looking it up so I can donate my 5 memberships. Man, what an absolute struggle though tonight. Last night started off that way, but it picked up. Tonight was the entire time. Let's see. There it is, right there. There we go. Who's saying that there's no evidence? People who say there's no evidence are willfully ignorant. I mean, you know how many times I make a video and the pro-burgers show up and they go, man, what? There's no evidence at all that he did this. And it's like, what are you talking about? It's so, it's amazing. You guys have heard it, right? Ding, 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 ding. I still have waiting for the one piece of smoking gun by any pro-burger to show up and say, here's something, Gray, and give me something. I go, wow. And it's a fact, not some, oh, well, lime green Elantra driving around has to be Kohberger's car. Now, circumstantial evidence is evidence. That is actual evidence. I'm not sure what the hell you're talking about. There's a difference between circumstantial and actual evidence. No, circumstantial evidence is evidence. That's exactly what that is. And sometimes circumstantial evidence is stronger than direct evidence. Okay, I don't care if you're a pro-burger or not, but that's not accurate what you just said. You know, Kohberger's phone turning off at 2:54 is circumstantial evidence that he wanted to have his phone off the network to hide where he went. That's exactly what that is. Why else would he turn his phone off at 2:54? Does he get a lot of phone calls at 2:54 and it would interrupt his sightings of the stars where it was so beautiful? He's probably playing Enya music, you know, looking out there, and it was just except it was cloudy. Oh, darn it. Well, you notice how they haven't talked about the Wawaway Park incident for quite a long time now. Yep, it is crazy, Timothy.
You know what's actually
Crazy?
These irrational people live among us
I know,
drive and have jobs, yikes.
I know, it is. It's scary. Scary stuff. We just want to make sure the right person is arrested, Gray. Okay. That's what we're doing. Kohberger is the killer. All right. Just know that for certain. Don't be confused about it. How do you know, Gray? It's innocent until proven guilty. Yeah, I'm sure you said the same thing about OJ, right? Well, Gray, I'm too young for OJ. No wonder. No wonder. See, there you go. Look at that. There you go. There's Miroslav. So you don't believe in innocent until proven guilty. You are a pro-burger. It's scarier as you age. Where is the park on the map? Wawaway Park? Wawaway Park is way over here. See that? Way over here. In fact, it's technically impossible, factually impossible for him to have gone to Wawaway Park and have his phone. Here's what's impossible. It's impossible for his phone to... Let's just do it right here, you guys. See, that's what we do. I like to prove stuff to people. Unlike the pro-burgers. They just tell you, and you lemmings believe what they're telling you. All right, let's see. So here's west of Blaine. Let's just give it a little bit of help, okay? We'll do the directions. Let's do it from right here. So there's Blaine is right there. So west of Blaine, we'll make it so it's farther down. And let's do like let's just go to here and let's see what the fastest route is over to... Wait, that's... Okay, did I already do the next one? Yeah, add another one. And then over here to Wawaway Park. All right, right there. Let's see how it had it go. Yeah, so they had that like a little cutoff thing here where it cut across and made a little weird route across, right? Well, that's 48 minutes right there. So what time is that now? So that would be from right there to here in 48 minutes. So if you left it okay, that was 3:48. What time is it then? So at 4:48 it's right here, right? That's when it's driving by Blaine. So add 48 minutes to that. If you add 50 minutes to that, it would be 3:30 or 5:38, right? But then 2 minutes less than that, so 5:36. Or 10 minutes short of that. Hold on. My brain just went. Let me just do the calculation. 4:48 plus an hour is... No, that's an easier way to do it. So that would make it 5:48 minus 12, which would be 5:36. So that means the vehicle would get right here at 5:36. You guys following along? So if it's just the mere fact that his vehicle... Let's just do this. Let's do it even to help it out even more. Hold on. Let's get rid of this one. Delete that. I'm going to start over again. This is great.
This
More
is great.
sarcasm.
More sarcasm. Loving the show.
Yeah, I like sarcasm. So right here, right? And then let's start off right here, south of Blaine, but west of Blaine. And then I'm gonna go right from there to
Can you
Wawawe
next
Park.
break down the timeline from 420, spotted on cam, to 448.
Right here.
Blaine phone pings.
Right
showing
there.
Travel time fits. Thanks. Red heart emoji. GHI rocks.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't fit. Yeah, it doesn't fit. Can you next? I already did that 10 minutes ago. Did you miss it? I already did that. It's 16 minutes short. Like, if you rewind the video, I did that whole thing that you just typed in there. But thank you. Thank you to Elizabeth Brown. She likes the sarcasm. And Desi Wezzy. All right. So look at that. I made it choose the fastest way it could possibly go from right there. And it took a different route like that, but on a highway, look at it, 39 minutes. So that is quicker. So let's do 40 minutes from 448. I guess if we did an hour again, it's 548 minus 20, 528, 527. Okay, so it'd be 527 when it got to there, right? Now let's get rid of that. And then let's put a pin right there. So 527. And then we go to the next spot. And let's say his vehicle drove in and he was right. What was that road he took? I think he was right here. Oh, yeah, right there. Right here. And that's 27 minutes. So what's 528 plus 27? That's 555. Well, his vehicle pinged in Moscow at 532. 535 or so, right around that time. So how's that possible? It's impossible that he could have gone to Wawawe Park on that drive back. Okay, if his phone pinged west of Blaine, it's impossible for him to have gone to Wawawe Park and then be over here at 5:30. You know, what time do we have there? Let's get the ping information. You guys following along? You guys should be a little bit more interested at what I just showed you than just nothingness. It's 5:27. It's right here, heading north, and the phone pinged at 5:30 in the area. All right, so you're like 25 minutes short. You can't do it. It's impossible. What does running on adrenaline have to do with anything? I don't get it. Yeah. I showed this way over a year ago, Cali Dime, and that's the sad part is I've been doing shows with accurate information for over 2 years, and nobody watches my channel, even though I've been on Court TV many times, etc., etc., etc. They always watch the clowns, the UK guys, the crazy conspiracy nutters, and people like me get left in the dust for some unknown reason. We don't really know what for. It's always strange. But I appreciate you finally coming over and being able to see this. He probably pulled over to hide the items in a temporary location. I don't know. You know what I think? I think there's something around here. And maybe that's where the time's different, where he drove over here somewhere. There's some kind of a road that can get you up in here. Because if you remember, he drives by here, and he actually pings by here. I think it said on the documentary, it said 5:20, I thought, right there. That's what they said. CAS data allows Kohberger movement according to the dateline. Johnson, Washington at 5:20. So that's crazy. That wasn't in the any of the probable cause documents. So that means it was driving by here at 5:20 in the morning, and then, but the time was used up. So here's the thing: is the time that's missing is missing before here. So there isn't time to go to here to there after you were already 16 minutes behind when you passed Blaine. All right, this is this other route that this route right here. That one's crazy because it comes out here at like 4:48. So it's possible that he, instead of going down Highway 95, he drove all the way out here on these back roads. Just remember this. Maybe this will show up at trial. Who knows? And he drove on these back roads, and out there somewhere, maybe in a pre-dug hole, he buried this stuff. And then he comes out right here and turns his phone on. However, there's Blaine there, so it wouldn't. His phone wouldn't ping west of Blaine. So, if that's true in the documentary, he could have, instead of, see right here, you guys, instead of going like this, right here, if he turned this direction, he would have gone through Blaine, and then made his way to the highway, and then turned left, then turn his phone on, and then that would work. So that would be almost the exact same thing. Pretty interesting, though, isn't it? Well, thank you, Geraldine Barry. And, I hope it doesn't bother you guys. I do try to raise the, I'm like, hey, everybody, if you can support the channel, I try to get things moving along. Because, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but a lot of you probably haven't seen it. But this is where we are at as a channel. Look at this. So in January of 2020, right when the pandemic started, that whole year, we gave $22,000. We started our DNA fund and, donated a lot of money to Texas EchoSearch and so forth. And then 2021, we did $42,500. That came right out of the income from the channel. That's how it works. And then 2022, $62,000. And then 2023, we did 57, so a little drop, but 2022 was a big year. And then 2024, we did 49,000, so it went down again, and we're currently at 15,000 so far after 4 months, but first month was god-awful, and then we've kind of picked it up a little bit. But the only way that happens is if the people that are watching my show on a nightly basis, tip money. Like if you have 400 or 500 people watching and everybody just tipped $1, that would be enough to do what we're doing. You know what I mean? But people don't do that. So, I just sort of rely on the people that can do it. And that's, what else do I say? I don't have, there's no ad revenue on these live streams. There is some. If you had probably 6,000 people watching and had 60,000 views, you'd make good income on your live streams. I don't get that. I try to make videos to augment it because that does make ad revenue. But it still comes down to the live streams. So that's why I'm always saying, hey, everybody, help support the channel. The trolls don't give a shit, though. They don't care that we give $243,000. They'll say I gave $243,000 of other people's money. But it's really the income that comes into the channel because some of that's ad revenue, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All right, so if you guys want to help support the channel, that'd be great. If you don't, you don't. So that's what it is. But I feel like supporting channels like mine who put out the factual information, try to put it in an organized way that makes sense to people, and and then do a lot of great stuff outside of the YouTube channel by supporting organizations should be the ones that people support, not the clowns, not the UK guy, not the wacko people that do absolutely nothing for anybody other than themselves, making 3 or 4 videos a day about the same bull crap fake narratives. Okay, now if you guys want to support that shit, you go right ahead. All right, but I need your support on this channel. All right, so that's where we're at. It seems like some nights it's such a struggle, though, and I hate it. I hate that part. I hate, I wish it was just obvious to all of you guys, and it just happens. There's some nights it does, some nights it doesn't. All right, well, there you go. That's the I don't know who the bird guy is, but there you go. I like this. I think this is easy, this shot right here. Yeah, but a lot of them, they don't. They just put out fake stuff. It's easy to put out fake information. You can say whatever you want. Alright, so does anybody here haven't seen the updated animation? Alright, we'll have to go take a look at that. I hope it's
Love
still...
your research and the visual stuff. Oh, and your bit of snark. BK is the K-bar killer.
he is the killer. Thank you, Shirls. Okay, I gotta wait till it all kicks in. Yeah, see, it takes a minute for everything to load in. So you got these. That'll load in. There it goes. You guys want to see who hasn't seen it? Put a 1 if you haven't seen this one yet. The updated. Well, we got a turnover rate in here. All right, so here it is. So here it is now. I'm probably going to have to redo the Xana portion. I'm going to put a DoorDash bag or something in her hand. You know what? I think the Starbucks, I'm going to make an executive decision that the Starbucks cup was already in the kitchen. It had nothing to do with that night. It was just there. So I think having the cell phone in her right hand and a garbage bag, although, I don't know, I think she left her phone in her room, and that's why it was never used again after 4/12. I think she went to the kitchen just to drop the bag off, didn't bring her phone with her. Then when she comes back, she was going to go back to the room, but she's changed her mind, went upstairs first, and she never used that cell phone again. That's what I think. All right, here we go. There's the sliding glass door. Comes into the house. He's got the K-bar knife. I'm not going to deal with, like, you know. He's got the sheath somewhere, okay? He's got the knife in his hand. And he makes his way around into Madison's room. And then he's like, just goes nuts right away, quickly. Oh, and then Kaylee wakes up and kicks him a little bit. And so then Dylan hears the sound upstairs. Sounds like somebody playing with a dog. She's looking around, you know, and there's still attacks, and she just, like, goes back in her room. And then here comes Xana. And she probably heard some noises here, but she goes into the kitchen anyways to drop off the DoorDash bag. But then I'm going to have it, and that's kind of where it ends now. So when she drops the bag off right here, she's going to hear something and then turn her head quick. And then she'll put the bag down and then just head upstairs. Okay, so that's kind of where I'm at now. What do you mean, I haven't even got to that part yet, Timothy. That's not even close. It's like 2 minutes from this time frame here. So what do you guys think of that so far? And that's what I'm saying. Isn't that super chat worthy than a clown talking about a lime green Elantra? Wow. Yeah, I mean, this stuff here takes hours. Like last night, I spent 2 hours and did, like, you know, on the show, and I did like 8 seconds worth. Yeah, so like I said before, we still have to, like, right now she's going to turn around. Timothy, as I said earlier, listen. She's going to turn around, then she's going to go upstairs after hearing some noises, and I think Kohberger has already done killing both Madison and Kaylee at this point, and she'll just kind of see him in the room, standing, hovering over them. And then she's going to turn around and make her way towards the stairs, and he'll say something like, hey, there's somebody here! And then I'll show Kohberger running out, or, walking really fast or whatever, out of the room. And then she'll kind of come out the bottom of the stairs. I don't have a really good down the stairs animation, so it's just going to be, she'll be coming down the stairs. And then right after that, you see Kohberger. So I might even just be in the living room filming them come one after the other. Like, here comes Xana. I'll make the stair sounds and everything. You'll just hear it. And then all of a sudden, here comes the Kohberger character after her. Then I'll turn the camera around, maybe just as Kohberger's about to get to the camera, and then now you show the door shutting that Xana just got in, and then Kohberger comes, and then boom, the door opens. It goes forward too, so he could literally kick it forward if he wanted to. And then she's attacked first. It should be pretty crazy, I think, once all said and done. I might have to put out multiple versions of it, because one I'll just put out when the animation's done, and then I'll do one where I don't know. I'm not even sure, because the trolls, they just... Yeah, I made the good vibes sign, but I didn't put it in there. I can't, the glow process made the lights funny. The state stopped investigating? No, they didn't. You're full of crap, Duckman. I'm just gonna get rid of you. You're uninteresting and you're not intelligent. All right? I'm sorry. Let's see. Yeah, that's weird. I can't see them over here. Maybe just time out the Duckman for the rest of the show. I can't see him. I'm getting sick of it. It's just such useless drivel said by, pro-burgers think that way. They investigated it for months. That's why they kept coming up with new stuff. You're just so inaccurate. It's almost unbelievable. He just has a different opinion, Gray. No, it's a consistent putting out false information over and over and over again on the same stream. That's what the difference is. Okay? We're not just going to let you keep doing it over and over and over again. Nonsensical drivel. What's weird is I can't even see them over here. So I think we might as well block them. Because that means they have me hidden over here. I just can see them on this other software program. Interesting. Use what in court? No, they won't use what I did in court. I'd let them if they was allowed, but they would never allow. This would be considered too prejudicial. This kind of thing. This is just. I'm trying to make it respectful. Like on the fighting, it's kind of blurry. You don't really see what's going on. Really, it's just kind of. That's Xana right there. Hey, thanks, Sherry Boo. I'm sure the people who matter are watching. Your info is fabulous. Keep it up. Yeah, well, it'd be cooler. It'd be cool if more people with brains actually knew my channel existed. Fix them up with Casey Anthony. Okay. So what did you guys hear the earlier stuff that we played? Let's do that again, because I thought that stuff was, of the show, it was most interesting part. Was maybe we'll play some of that again. Hold on. All right, so here's the first one. And remember the whole Papa Rogers thing. Well,
That's why the man behind the Papa Roger profile was Brian Kohberger.
Thing I've ever
see, listen
read
right
or
here.
watched or heard.
Right.
This is just one reason our source tells us that investigators are now convinced that the man behind the Papa Roger profile was Brian Kohberger.
Isn't that amazing? I mean, so that's one of those things that we didn't really, we've heard it, and I just totally forgot that on that special, they said that investigators are convinced that the person behind the Papa Rogers account was Brian Kohberger. That's crazy, isn't it? I mean, because that means, see, Dateline doesn't have shitty sources. They have really inside sources that actually, and they won't ever give up their sources. So if the courts are trying to compel, especially in New York, see, we looked it up the other night, in New York, the protection of reporters is so strong that there's no chance in hell that you'll ever get the source of the leak to Dateline, and that's how you know how good the source was. Because if it was crap information, they wouldn't be even mad at Dateline. They'd just be, because it wouldn't be real. But isn't that amazing? Like, that is, and the Papa Rogers account said that, let's see, he said that he mentioned the sheath. They must have found the sheath. To me, that's just really good common sense based on the fact they were looking for anybody who sold a K-bar knife. So how would they know that? Because a wound is a wound, right? I mean, some are, you couldn't distinguish a K-bar knife wound compared to probably like a large kitchen knife or something. It would be hard to tell the difference. So the fact that they knew it was a specific brand, he deduced that, they must have found the sheath. But see, I thought that's kind of cool logic, right? However, it also could mean that he, because that's him. He knew that he left the sheath there, and he just wanted to seem smart. And I wonder if he had to think through that. Is there a way to deduce this by what's been put out there? Well, they did say it was a K-bar knife, so how else will they know? Hey, they must have found the sheath. So that was pretty cool. And then, there's a whole bunch of other stuff. One of the other things that the account did, as I said earlier in the show, was that it tried to convince people that the white Elantra was a red herring. That's what Papa Rogers said in post. Oh, yeah, don't worry about the white Elantra. That's totally bogus. That's a red herring. And you know what? There's a big difference between the K-bar knife sheath and the white Elantra. The K-bar knife sheath being found at the time, given the fact that he thought he cleaned it. Okay? I mean, see, that's the thing. See, here's the thing. Look at this. At the time, Papa Rogers didn't realize that he had left his DNA on the small button snap, because I think he left it there as a calling card. So think about how that works here. He thought, there's no way that's going to identify me. Yeah, man, they must have found the knife sheath there. And there'd be no way to identify him, because it's just a knife sheath. Now, the white Elantra, however, could lead back to him. So he was trying to convince people that the white Elantra wasn't a valuable piece of information, that it was just a red herring. But he didn't realize that the knife sheath turned out to be the thing that actually identified his name. But at the time when he was saying that, there's no way in hell that would lead, if there was no DNA on that knife sheath. And see, he was trying to do that scenario that I told you guys about. If there was no DNA on the knife sheath, but there was a knife sheath and there was no Elantra, see, he's trying to make it, hey, there's no Elantra, it's a red herring, everybody. You get rid of that Elantra and you only have a knife sheath in there with no DNA on it. Kohberger is absolutely not even a person that anybody even knows about right now. All right. If there was no Elantra footage, so let's say he walked the 10 miles and he snuck back in there and he was wearing, and he committed those, wore a dark outfit and he committed the killings, and then he snuck back out and he walked away, and he still left the knife sheath there intentionally as a calling card, but there was no DNA on it. He cleaned the button snap. There's no arrest. There's no way to tell that he was there, especially if he'd left his phone at home. There'd be no way. He would not, even if the sheath was there, he'd be safe. Can you tell me any other way that they'd find him? And the answer is no. Okay. So he thought when Papa Rogers was discussing the sheath at that time, he thought that there was no DNA that he left on there. He was happy about it. So if you guys believe that Papa Rogers is Kohberger, then the fact that he was so cavalier talking about, oh, they must have left the sheath, means that he left it there intentionally, and and he believed he'd cleaned it well enough that he didn't have any DNA on it. You see? That's exactly what I think. That actually helps my theory that it was left as a calling card, because he was confident about that. And he was pumped when that came out. Like, oh yeah, they found my calling card. That's so awesome. Hey everybody. And he wanted to talk about it. Well, yes, she was. What does that have to do with what I'm talking about? I wasn't talking about a she. The thumbs up picture, he didn't look worried. Right, he looked like he had just been like, I did it, you guys. I think it's just, he literally touched it with his finger, like hard, like touched it. He forgot about it. When you're snapping a button and then you clean it, you're just rubbing the outside. You're not really thinking about the underside of the button snap. And that's what was so amazing about that. He missed it. And the fact that it was cleaned, all the rest of it, means that he intentionally cleaned it. And why would you do that if you intended to take the knife sheath with you, just out of pure like, ooh, I don't want to, if I accidentally leave it? I mean, that's a stretch to say that. That somebody would clean a knife sheath on the off chance that it would just sort of fall off and be sitting there. The truth is, he missed the spot cleaning the button snap, and he was going to leave it there as a calling card because, boy, he was studying serial killers. And don't you know, he's going to do all the little cool things that serial killers do. Yeah, we'll do a little Ted Bundy in there. We'll move from Pennsylvania to Washington. We'll attack college students. And then we'll throw in some Danny Rolling in there with the K-bar knife and going through sliding glass doors. We'll probably throw a little, maybe we'll do like the BTK, leave a calling card. Oh, this is great, man. I'll do them all. Oh, and maybe we'll leave a signature. Maybe that's, I'll cut Ethan's legs, carve it in there. They'll think that's like a signature of some sort. And oh, man, we'll just do them all. I learned all these in class. Yeah. It's just a, what do you mean, where's the picture of the car? You've never seen it, Cherry? Oh, wait, I think I can find it. Is it this one? This might be it. No, it's the other one. Not that one. Not that one. I don't know why it's hard to find sometimes. It's at the bottom of the timing thing. No. Not sure what folder I put it in. Is it that one? No. Oh, jeez. Maybe if I open up, I just was looking at it. What's today, the 18th? It was the 17th that happened. Let's see. Kohberger, 17. I don't know why it's hard to find sometimes, these documents. There's so many. But I thought I had this one special. Yeah, Isn't it the same one? I'll have to look for it another time, I guess. Maybe, let me just try it one more couple times here. PDF. I think if I type the word vehicle in here, that'd probably be good. That's not it. What was that about? Like, it had the timeline of the vehicle. It was more like the, let's see, suspect. That's so weird. I just looked at it. That's what I've been using to do the whole timeline. I don't know where I put it. Let me just look through these. I think it might be in here. Do you guys know what date that was? I think I can find it in here, probably quicker. Make and model, suspect vehicle, I don't think that's it. Or maybe it was. So there's this one. It's one of the make and model ones. So you got that one. So that's not it. This one. That might be. That's it right there. There you go. I'm going to save it. I'll put it right out here. Oh, it's there. Jesus, I just looked for it. It's so stupid. I was just looking. That's where my first place I looked. All right, here it is. Right there. See? There's no plate. And the way that looks, and those other guys think that that's the lime green one because see how there's this little discoloration there, like a weird sort of something. They assume that that's that curled up plate that's on the other one, and it's just garbage. You know, it's just this isn't even a. This is a normal camera. That's why there's colors in it. So there's that. Let's see. 2015 white Elantra with plate. Is that where the plate goes? Right there. All right, here's one that has a plate on it. See that? It goes right there. And if you, I don't know if you can see this, but if you look at that, like this part, the darkness is here. And then this part is this part down there. And there's no plate there. The plate would be right here and inside of that darkness. See that? And here's another, you know, like a sample place where a plate would be. Here's another plate, you know, it's always in the same spot right there. And it goes into the grill down below, and that's not there. See? Does that make sense? Hello? No, it was the old. It was the old one, M10. It was the one from 2 years ago. This episode is really hard to find now as a video. Like it's not on there. Even if you pay for the Peacock and you go to season 31, it's not there. All right, so you have that one, and here's another clip.
According to the sister, quite loudly, brought up and uncovered the following. One of Brian's two older sisters, home for the holidays, brought up an uncomfortable topic. The sister had noticed Brian had been wearing latex gloves. She thought it odd. And at some point, the sister, quite loudly, pointed out that at the time of the murders in Moscow, Brian had lived just a few miles away in Pullman, and that Brian drove a white Elantra, a car that law enforcement across the nation was looking for.
Yeah, isn't that creepy? That the sister is like, hey, she put the pieces together.
Add that to the gloves, and the sister said she thought the Kohberger family should consider that Brian might have killed the 4 students in Moscow.
Our
Yeah.
source says Brian's father said no, he didn't believe that. But then our source says several members of the family actually went outside to look for it.
So the father didn't believe it? Let's see.
Our source says Brian's father said no, he didn't believe
How could you not believe that? You just drove back with him.
that. But then, our source says, several members of the family actually went outside to look for evidence in Brian's white Elantra, and they didn't find any. But by then, police had already observed Brian cleaning the car with bleach.
Yeah, because that's what everybody does, everybody. Everybody drives home for holidays. You wear surgical gloves, and while you're there, don't you know, you pull out some bleach and you start cleaning your vehicle. At the same time that a vehicle matching your description just a few miles away from where you live was seen just at the same time that 4 people were killed. So, yeah, I mean, that happens to all of us. Don't look into it too much. But great. I know. I'm trying to figure that out. The merch thing. I know that... let's see. What is it? Thanks, Curly Lock Diva. Thank you. I know Cheryl Moran wanted to have the butt gray one. Bus Dad is the same group therapy as Stefan's dad. Bus Dad? What? Who drives from that far for Christmas? Well, I think he wanted to get that Elantra out of there. I'm not even sure. I think he was going to maybe try to sell the damn thing. I mean, why would he? It seems really strange. Like he wanted to get that car out of there, and I think he wanted to get it away so he could keep cleaning it and making sure everything, you know, if somebody had stumbled upon it, maybe they would have, I don't know. It's so strange. It's so obvious. I mean, don't the Kohbergers care about that shit? That the police observed him wearing, like they find him in surgical gloves, but not only that, they see him cleaning his car with bleach, and he cleaned it multiple times, and don't they care that the sister thought that? And so you got that, and then this one was another crazy thing that was in that one.
For example, in search warrants...
M10, check this one out, M10, that was in that one too, listen.
For example, in search warrants, police reported that in Kohberger's home in Pennsylvania, in Brian's bedroom, we're told, inside a latex glove, police found 2 ID cards. IDs belonging to 2 women. And not, our source tells us, not the women who are among the victims on King Road.
See, but that's interesting just by itself. Why would he do that? Yeah, I haven't been able to find it. Somebody here earlier said that they've got the copy of they know where to find the video. I couldn't find it. I couldn't find it at all. I was looking all over the place. I looked all the places where you can watch it. Wasn't there. There's clips from it, but not the full episode. Now, Spotify has the audio file of it. So I thought, okay, well, that's really all you need to know is like you hear what they're saying. But don't you think it's crazy that he was actually, had 2 IDs from 2 other women that aren't the victims. So he stole those IDs from somebody. When did he steal those IDs? Now, what were the circumstances that allowed him to go steal those IDs? That's kind of interesting, right? I mean, were they... My thing is I think he has little sort of trophies from different elements of his development into who he became. Like, I think he probably practiced sneaking into homes, and he probably stole some IDs one night, and he wasn't seen, and he felt really good about it, so he kept the IDs as trophies to say, hey, look, man, I got in there, and nobody saw me or anything, and they were sleeping. So when I finally do this, man, then he felt really confident that he could go into a house. That's a little bit like Ed Kemper he practiced picking up hitchhikers and what to say and what not to say for a while until he finally developed a tactic where he could sort of calm the hitchhikers, and then he started killing them. I just think that Kohberger, those are probably just two trophies. He's so, like, wow, those are reminders of the time where he got into the house and he was even able to dig around in purses and take the ID out. That's what I think. And then I think he sort of escalated over time, and he felt so good about those other instances that he felt like he could just go right into this house, nobody would see him, and he would kill. Unfortunately, he had two different things that went wrong for him. The DoorDash delivery and Kaylee being in Madison's bed. Both those things are contributed. I think he was being fired on the way back. Like they had messaged him. Let's see, when was Kohberger? I think I have that in my fired. Oh yeah, fired from being a TA. Let's see. Brian Kohberger was officially terminated from his position as a teaching assistant at Washington State University on December 19th.
Chewbacca?
Hey, thanks, M10.
I'll do Chewbacca if you want me to.
Thank you all so much for being patient with me. I learned so much from you all. Keep it up. Great.
I don't know. I mean, I always like when you're in here because you're always so like interested. I mean, there's people that come in and they just don't give a shit. They just want to throw out the next kind of pile of crap, and then. So let's take a look at the. I'm going to open up. So this is December 15th. So I guess after he got home. But just after he got home, he was officially terminated. But I think there were emails that were sent. Do I have this in my timeline, by the way? This is on 12/15. No, I don't. 12/15. 2022. Indiana pulled over twice. That's 12/19, 2022. Probably, he's in PA, Kohberger fired. So I'll just put that in there. All right. I didn't have that in my timeline. I was just kind of mainly, I've just started branching off of the same day lately. Yeah, the spreadsheet's pretty good. I mean, look at this thing over here, you guys. Look at this. All of this. Ding 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 ding. It's actually 251 different pieces in there. Obviously my favorite part is the looping of the Elantra and timing of each of the different times it was doing the passes. The key one here is this one. So as the vehicle travels behind 500 Queen Road, and then the headlights are spotted on 1127 as it makes the turn. The first time around is 23 seconds, then 29, so it's driving way slower, then slower again, 32 seconds. And then on the last pass, when he's about to go in to kill, just before parking, was 19 seconds. He just went zoop. I mean, he zipped around 500 Queen Road and parked that car, and then he goes into the house. I think he went into the house, though, like 3 minutes after he parked. I think he parked, he zipped around, but he parked, and he sort of hesitated a little bit. He was just kind of waiting, getting worked up. He waited, and he got ready for blood spatter mitigation. And then he goes into the house, I think probably like 4:10 at the latest. Maybe 4:11. I guess what I was saying, M10, is you seem interested in stuff. You know, like other people don't sound that way, unfortunately. I mean, some of the random trolls, I mean. Thanks, Melissa Teal. When the dad rode home with BK, do you think he may have seen anything in Kohberger's
When the
car?
dad rode home with BK, do you think he may have seen anything in Kohberger car suspicious?
Well, I think what was suspicious is his car, you know? Like, his dad must have known. Like, I mean, here's the thing. That was a national story. I'm sure that they were interested in a story that was so close to their kid who goes to school. And then when they came out with the White Elantra, I guarantee you that he must have thought, man, my son drives one of those, and he's a bit strange, my kid. I bet you anything his dad wondered prior to driving back with his kid. And maybe because his kid seemed so nonchalant on the way back, he thought maybe he didn't do it. But then the sister saw him wearing gloves, something he doesn't ever do. And for you pro-burgers who said it's an OCD thing, you're full of crap, because he never did that before. Now, if Kohberger was wearing gloves from the age of 10 to 28, I would go, okay, you know, maybe he did wear gloves for that reason. You know, I mean, he didn't. He never wore them. And so he had them on that day, and, you know, or when he got back, never wore them before, and he drives a White Elantra, and the sister was like, hey, there's something. And the only reason she would really even start considering that is if Kohberger had been exhibiting strange behavior basically forever. Like, that's just, like, he's a weird person. Strange. They probably knew he was a little off, you know. But I think it also would just be weird in general. Like I said earlier, if you had a sibling that went to a college and they drove a specific type of vehicle, and then they're come home and they're wearing gloves, you might start being a little suspicious if you were aware that they were looking for exactly the same type of vehicle that your sibling has. Gray past? Oh, gray. Past versus present. Right. Yeah, so tell all the pro-burgers out there, when they tell you that it was OCD, just tell them, well, the sister had never seen it before. Well, Gray, maybe she was never around when he did it. Gee, Gray, do you always do stuff in front of your siblings? Well, you're right, but now he is wearing it in front of the siblings. Isn't that weird? Because now he's got to wear them all the time. Ding, 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 ding. How often he called his dad? What that 1 hour was? That 1 hour call a fluke? No, he called. It wasn't just one call. He called his dad 3 times. One was longer than the one. He talked to his dad for like 2 hours or so, in that the time between the murders and when he drove back there, like 6 something in the morning. So he got back to his apartment probably no later than 5:40, and then he calls his dad at like 6:31, and then he called him. That was for like 40 something minutes, and then he called his dad again for over an hour. And then at 9, so just after he's done talking to his dad, he rushes back over there. Think about how weird that is. Now that you think about it, he calls his dad at 6:31, so that would be about 7:15, right? Not done with that call. And then the next call is over an hour, so that's like 8:15. And then he called him again or something. And then he leaves his house like 15 or 20 minutes after that. Did he tell his dad, Dad, I did something really bad, and I left it. I don't know. I mean, if for the left the sheath on accident people, that'd be great. But he never went by the house after that, and there was nobody there. Wouldn't that have been a perfect time to just drive by since there was no law enforcement presence? He could have just driven by there to look for the sheath outside. Maybe he dropped it, but he didn't do that. So I don't think he went back to look for the sheath. I think he went back to, sort of bask in the glory of what he did. He wanted to see the reaction. And isn't it also weird, if you think about it, that he took that thumbs up picture, and it's still like almost an hour and a half later is when 911 was called. So he comes home and does a thumbs up. Like, yeah. So when he drove over there, he was excited, and he knew, like, it was almost like a wink to himself, right? Like, I know that there's dead people in that house right now, and nobody else knows. And I think that's why he's doing that. That's the real thing. He's like, he wants it to be able to relive that thought and look at that again in the future. Because he knows that he killed all those people, and there isn't another person out there, because law enforcement isn't there yet. And he's just like, we know, right? Could also be with the Kata, is that his name? He was saying that he was like, he didn't like who he was, but now he does. He's looking at himself. People will know who I am. Mm-hmm. What was the other one? Oh man, my stomach just went. Ugh. You guys hear that? Jesus, that was like inside my stomach. It went. Rah! Sometimes when I eat anything with milk in it, my stomach gets kind of. What's the theory? He brought the jammer with him and took it when he left. No. That's not. It's only a theory by people. There's no jammers or anything. He just didn't use his phone. He turned it off. Did they try at least luminol? I'm sure they did all that stuff. I think law enforcement, the FBI was working with them immediately. They did everything. And out of all the stuff they did, the only thing that we're aware of is the DNA on the knife sheath. That's it. And people say stuff about Kohberger's DNA wasn't under the fingernails. Well, it just nobody knows anybody's. There was so little DNA that they can't really identify anybody who was under there. They can just say who is consistent with or not. Some of it was consistent with Kaylee. It's just obviously Madison didn't scratch Brian Kohberger because he had this clothes on, and she wasn't even really awake. I don't think Madison Mogen was ever awake, or if she was, it was for like 10 seconds. I think she was asleep. She was very intoxicated that night, and he stabbed her, and I think she died pretty quick. And then it was Kaylee, I think, woke up to the sound of Madison being killed, and then tried to sort of like fight back, but Kohberger just, used the K-bar knife and attacked and punched and apparently he punched Kaylee and so forth. And then I think he just kind of was still there. I think he might have kept stabbing though or something. I don't know. Not sure what he was doing up there. I'm not really going to spend a lot of time on that in the video. It's just kind of like you'll show little glimpses of blurry movements and things. And yeah, Maddie and Ethan. And the only people that got really attacked more brutally are people that were awake, because they tried to fight back. That's it. Remember Kaylee's dad said that Kaylee's wounds to her face could have taken her life before they... Yeah. Well, that's weird because it matches the thing that Zozo found earlier today. Like an old clip. Here, I'll show it to you guys. And it also matches the carving comment. I think it's in this one, it said. I think it's down there. From the text messages my sister received from the FBI agent. Apparently, it is one of the most probably gruesome scenes he's ever been a part of. They didn't put the word in there, though. Ethan's legs were sliced all the way down to the hamstring. So, when they say down to, I'm not sure what that means. Are they talking about it deep to the hamstring? Or like from the foot up to the hamstring? Because down to the hamstring from the butt, I mean, that's right there. There's no... I mean, that's the top of your leg, so I don't know how you go down. Thanks. Callie Dime. I remember Kaylee's dad's... Yeah. Or Callie Dime, I mean. And then right here it said... Ethan's legs were sliced all the way down. That kind of matches the carving comment that they made in the last documentary. One of the girls was poked 54 times and hurt so badly, this is probably Kaylee, that every bone in her face was broken. Doesn't that sound like what you just referred to by Gonzalez? And sunken in to the point she was unrecognizable. One of the cops said one of the girls in the basement. So when they say one of the girls in the basement, that must be Bethany. She's the only one that was down on that level. Who survived, went by the staircase and thought it was Ethan, making all the noise, and yelled at him to shut up. But it was actually Brian, and he left after, but she didn't know it was him at the time. So Kohberger was probably aware that there was at least one survivor, if that's true. He didn't see Dylan, in my opinion. The documentary makes it seem like, Kohberger was surprised by Dylan. No, how do you know? He was just turning to get out of there. Yeah, I know, Sarah. I've already said that. Yeah. Yeah, after 412, she didn't use her phone anymore. So I think I'm going to have to redo the portions of my animation. Like, I don't think she even has her cell phone with her. I think her cell phone's in her room right now. And right now she's just taking the DoorDash bag to the kitchen and it's going to drop it off in here. Maybe, whatever. Get a cup or whatever. Who the hell knows, right? And then she, at this point, that's when she starts hearing stuff and goes upstairs. But I think her phone's in her room at that time. And that's why it was never used again. I think she was killed probably at 4:15 or so, 4:16. Yeah, that the sounds that they played, we don't know if anybody, maybe she's still alive at that point. You know, I don't know. I mean, they say they can hear whimpering sounds, so, you know, maybe that's her, maybe, I don't know. The timing, I mean, hell, I don't know. Did Kohberger go in the house at like 4:14 then? And goes upstairs and Xana's in the kitchen at 4:15? You know, I guess that's possible, because they said the murders, they timed it, could happen in 2 to 4 minutes. So did Kohberger sit outside and wait? And maybe he went in the house at 4:13 or 14. And maybe Xana just didn't use her TikTok anymore after that. Just randomly. I don't know. Or maybe Xana was still alive in the room and he was in there just watching her die, and then she kind of tries to get up or something, and then he attacks her again. Like, hey, I'm here to help, you know. Was there a jammer recovered? Man, the whole jammer thing. These people just, you know, they watch a little too much true crime, I think. Anyways, I think that's gonna do it. I think it like jams cell phone signals. All right. Anyways, thank you to, well, let me do it over here. It's better in here. Got Timothy Moore, Allie Cake, Mark Ferris, Sandy Shirley, Katie became a new member, and CR gifted 5, then Mark Ferris. Yep. I remember that. We talked about that. Then Danielle became a new member. Then Dixie with a super chat. Dixie Hippie investigates. Everybody investigates. Let's see. Tam Ran 127. Then we got Sean Ellis gifted 5. And then Alley Cake, Mark QC, Theoroy. I don't know what he did. Danielle again, following in Ireland. It's 2:47. This is where I come for logic. Keep up the great work. Well, thank you. And then we got Scott G. Gray, when a guy stalks college girls, creeps through the dark, and spends a little extra time in 2 bedrooms after butchering them to death. Do you think sexual gratification too is the subtext? Yep. I think there is. But it's kind of like that anger sexual. I mean, it's kind of a strange thing. Like it feels like maybe he gets off on inflicting the pain or something. I don't know. I don't know what he is, because he didn't kill there wasn't another time. I think he was just starting off, like he was going to be a serial killer. He thought he was going to be the best one ever. DRP4, Alley Cake before that. Then Lainey Carter, Leanne Bell, then Timothy Cecil, and Elizabeth Brown gifted a membership. Then we had Theoroy, and then we have Shay 530. Then we have DM, a member for 11 months. Thank you. Super sticker by Self-Esteem. Then we have Urban Infidel. Then Elizabeth Brown. Kim Stokes. Then look at that, Ted Bundy. Thank you, Ted Bundy. And then Curly Lock Diva, gifted 1. And they sent in a super chat. Then Lenny G. and Christy Christy, and then Allie Cake Gifted One, and Christy again, and Sassy T, and Carolina, and Harry me boy, Austin Huber, Kami, Tired of It All, M10, Gray, there's more than one camera. Is the claim they all had night vision. Right. Most cameras at night have the night vision. But you know, they just have to look into the guy. He's not the guy. So. Amy Lemoyne, Gifted One, then Sassy T, and I Gifted 5, and Timothy Cecil, and then Elizabeth Brown, then Desi Wezzy, then Ashley Yeager became a new member. There's Desi Wezzy. And Sheryl's Freedom Stitcher, then Cheruboo, and then Curly Lock Diva, M10, and Melissa Teal. Then over here in the coffee, we had Lisa Valenzuela, Sharon, Rebel Red, Ted Bundy, Timothy Cecil, and Paulette Leonard. All right. Anyways, did you guys find the show mildly interesting, at least? No, I'm not going to sell it. Yep. And thanks, Zozo, for those screenshots and stuff you got earlier. Those are pretty interesting. Yeah, cool. Thanks, Harry me boy. All right, cool. Yeah, Zozo's pretty good at finding these little quirky pieces of information that really you don't see them very often. They're kind of randomly strewn around. They've been there for years on different places. I think that one that we read is pretty accurate. You know, it sounds like they had inside information, the carved, and how her face was kind of bashed in a little bit, unfortunately. But that seems like that's actually in there. I think that's an accurate writing that somebody had. So, anyways, thank you all for being here. We will see you tomorrow. Who knows what tomorrow will bring? All right, so as I always say, let's see, until next time, let me get this. Be safe out there. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, thug rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. I'm gonna get you on a stretcher if you try and play me like I don't project it. Crime sector is my nectar. The fancy boy is gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector. Hey, I'm always gonna be a protector. Fool deflector, interceptor. I don't mean a little spectre with a vector on his spectre. With all respect, just remember I've a total fucking check ya. I have no agenda, I'm not a tender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody? All right. Be safe out there.